We have to slab it. They said, oh. Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
All right, what's the crowd looking like?
Even outside, it's packed.
That's right. You guys are all here. Mike is working. Hit that like early so everybody knows that we're live. In lieu of notifications, that's the best way to make sure everybody knows. Everybody knows. What happens if I push this button?
Cash. Green. I mean green cash.
I wish. I mean, that's... If I just put that in a magical super chat every time I...
Fighting number 2.
Well, you would.
Here I am like an idiot.
All right, we got to get started. 3, 2, and... What's happening? I'm going to go straight to it. Hi, chat room. Hi, how are you? Gather in. How you doing? Settle in. How's your Friday going? It's been a weird couple of weeks, I gotta say, but we're bringing the last half week of the first week of 2024 to a close. Congratulations, we made it all the way through, all 5 days of it. I'm honestly stunned. I didn't think you'd make it, but here you are, and I just lucky you, and I'm glad people like the shirt. This shirt is it's triple useful. One, it's very comfortable. It's a good wear. It's a nice shirt. It's got a little funky to it, you know, in terms of it's the kind of a weird kind of New York art style to it, which is very interesting as a campaign shirt. It also shows that I am indeed a proud Biden voter, and it also more than anything annoys all the right people. So. That I really like. That's got to be my. That's probably. It's hard to say what the best thing is about it, but it's probably the people that go what, but what the whatever, like those folks. Whenever they react like that, that's good. I'm like, oh, successful T-shirt. It's hand screened in Austin. Well, there you go. Look at that. Within just a couple miles of infotainmentwars.com headquarters, we're in a hollowed out missile silo underneath Austin, Texas. It's the only place in that entire area where we won't get a contact buzz from the air. Can I show you guys real quick? Let's go straight with this. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you a tale of two sceneries. Shall we join this? Hit that like, by the way. Let people know we're here. And this is Joe Biden's campaign launch speech on the anniversary of Jan 6 today. And I at some point the Republicans are going to go, not enough flags. How dare he outflag us? You can't, we own the flag. You don't own the flag with your genuine patriotism instead of our rancid bullshit passing at it. I mean, that is some serious flagellization there going on. Look at that. Red, white, and blue lighting across the top like the bicentennial episode of Knight Rider. Fuck, man. He should just buy the rights to the Lee Greenwood song. Just because I'm pretty sure Greenwood doesn't own the, the publishing anymore, right? And just have somebody, like, have Taylor Swift cover it. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. You know, and then have everybody, like, have black people, like, doing jazz dancing around it, and all the RuPaul Drag Race winners of the year performing. just everything you can do. What are these? Oh, this is the line of all the maggot triggers. Oh, can we just flick them all? That just like. They should just get a bluegrass band. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And then did I say that right for me, and I gladly stand up. And that's today. You know, like, fuck, how do they out rural us? God damn it. I used to like that song too. It's a shame. I remember the first time I saw the video for Proud to be an American, or whatever the fuck the actual song name is. And I was like, who knew that Yakov Smirnoff could sing, right? So yes, it's a great speech. I recommend you watch it. It's, you know, it requires no commentary from me. You know, pretty straightforward, you know, speech about the direction, that kind of stuff, old fashioned, whatever. Meanwhile, Trump is in Iowa. I'm just saying, there's the Iowa flag, there's the American flag, and then there's the Donald Trump whatever the shit. This is Iowa is Trump country sign, right? He's in Sioux Center, Iowa, which he thinks is another town. And let me show you this real quick. Man, are we on Nunt watch? Lord, I have a hard time looking at it. God damn it. It's like somebody's pet pig had testicular cancer, and they couldn't afford the fucking faux testicles to eat. Ew. I mean, good Lord. I guess. Ozempic. You know. Deflating your neck, it's not gross. All right. It's like a whale's blowhole. Just breach. God. And he thinks like holding his chin out there will make sure you don't see it, but look at that. Whoa! It's ew. There's so many things going through my head right now that I absolutely am not gonna say. I'm just saying that I cannot. I'm done. Shit. Okay. And we gotta pull the plug on the nut jokes. This is gonna get really bad. Boy. Anyways, again, he's doing the and proud to shmee doogie boogie boo. I'm just like he's waiting for a fucking bus. Glazed as fuck, by the way, today. If you look at his eyes, he's got that bloodshot glazed look, like he just had like far too many edibles. Oh no. Did he wait? What line did he sing? Hold on. He started doing one of the lines. When he starts walking over, did he miss the cue or? Oh, he just did the SA part. He left the U part out.
Thank you very much. Wow.
Wow.
It's a packed house.
Wow. Wow, it's a packed house. Yeah, it's packed everywhere.
Outside, it's packed.
This is a packed house. It's a gymnasium, fuckhead. It's like the Sioux Center in Iowa. Sioux Center, Iowa is the actual place, I'm fairly certain, right? Not the actual, like, Sioux City Center. Say, you got any of that Sioux City sarsaparilla there, Al? Yeah. Yeah, it's totally packed. It doesn't sound at all like a VFW hall or something, or the local Moose Lodge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, jobs data.
We're going to take our country back.
But first, we're going to return this microphone where we bought it, because shit. Hold on.
We're going to take our country back. We're going to take our country back.
Yeah. Back to, I guess, circa Nixon era? Back to, 1930?
So sad to see what's happening.
Yes, with all those jobs and everything. And, like, Jerome Powell can't even cut the interest rate because the jobs keep going up. God damn it, why won't you people stop spending money? Stop eating at restaurants and going to concerts, especially that Taylor Swift bitch. What the hell?
Hello, Iowan. Very, very happy New Year.
Hello, Iowan. There's only one there? Is it all? It's all front row Joes and one Iowan. I'm from here. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
We're going to have a great year. Hopefully, it's going to be one of the greatest years ever. You know why?
Because Biden's in office and you're not. Believe me, one thing we do know, it's not going to be a replay of 2020. The fourth year of Biden is not going to be like the fourth year of Trump. That's for shit straight.
Because in November, it's going to be big. It's going to be bigger than anything's ever happened to this country.
Anything that's ever happened. Revolutionary War, the fucking D-Day, fuck it. The end of the Civil War.
Country, I think it really is of that magnitude, and
it is. It totally is.
Appreciate such a big turnout. We come to.
It's a huge, huge turnout, especially outside.
Even outside, it's packed.
Yeah, I mean, you think it's packed in here? You should see the people who didn't get in, because that's the rest of the people on Earth.
Every little part of this place, and the people are.
Every little part. So you can see the little like, it's little, but we're getting to every little. I'm going to every little. I'm doing every shit gig. Greater and greater every stop, and we want to hit every corner. And we're really honored to see the crowd, that we had the turnout that we have. You're incredible people. You built this. He's definitely bummed at the size of the place. Why won't Trump's campaign and all the other fuckers turn the cameras around so we can see how big the crowd is? Show the crowd. What are you ashamed of? Oh, the lights went off. Oh, look at that, the media. This country. You built this country. 10 days from now, the people of this state are going to cast the most important vote of your entire lives. No, they're not. It's the Iowa caucuses. It only involves the party members and people who give a fuck anyways. No, they're not. I believe that too, very much. I used to say that 2016, and I believed it then, and now I... Wait a minute, asshole. This is a primary. This is a caucus. You said that's November next year, stupid. Believe this is even much more important. Our country's going... Or sorry, this year. I'm still writing next year on my thoughts. Our country's going to hell. You don't mind me using that horrible word, don't you? Yeah, just as long as you don't say bullshit and motherfucker. You said those before, but hell, oh. I use that word because our country's real. Because it's going to hell? Because it's, I mean, how do you describe hell but hell? I mean, it's hell. Hell is indeed hell. In trouble. It's in trouble like it's never been before, in my opinion. We have. In my opinion, because I've never been in trouble before, and therefore, and I didn't give a fuck about the rest of you, so you're all in this with me. If I go down, you go down, you sons of bitches. I have national secrets. If I go to jail, I've got a kill switch. Eric's gonna release some documents if he can find them. The dumb, son of, I should have put Ivanka in charge. God damn it. A man who's grossly incompetent dealing with nuclear war. He's dealing against Russia. He's dealing against President Xi of China. China.
If you would deal with these people, you'd say it's not a fair fight. By
Well, then why is our economy doing great and theirs is eating ass?
delivering the massive victory, I think it's going to be really a tremendous victory in Iowa, because I'm
Oh, so yeah, it's great. The energy of this.
seeing polls that are phenomenal. But the main thing I got to ask you, look, we got to get out and vote, because, bad things happen when you sit back.
Yeah, they're seeing the... I thought you never seen passion like this before. Why do you even have to tell these motherfuckers? Why do you have to even be... Don't they know if you had twice the... I mean, every time we hear them talk, right? It's just they're so excited. Oh, I've not seen the numbers, but the passion. Oh, the passion of the Christ. Hold on, I gotta turn the audio up. That's the loudest I can get on this one. Sorry. Hold on. I might be able to find it elsewhere. Let me see if I can find... Well, because we're going to jump around. He's saying the same shit anyways. I mean, honestly. I mean, why would we do that when we could see, like, the real heart of the Trump clan? Eric got to speak.
Say probably pretty terrible as well, right?
Yeah, pretty... Yeah, I would agree.
Comment by Hill.
Also, I don't know why, but they just picked this up. I guess this is the middle of Stank. Stankfeld's carrying it. So Eric spoke at the event, and he's got a better sachet than the old man who has to grip the podium. Eric's got the timeshare pose down, one hand on the podium. And let me tell you a little something about shutters you might not know. This is Eric speaking. This is going to be good.
Hillary Clinton, which was, you'd say probably pretty terrible as well, right? So she comes out and she says that New Hampshire is going to fix the mistake.
New Hampshire? Jesus Christ, man. You're like a foot taller than me. You can't have a voice higher than mine. It doesn't work. You sound like a 2-episode arc villain on Leave It to Fucking Beaver.
And I'm paraphrasing, that Iowa makes, meaning because she thinks she can win New Hampshire, which she won't. But she knows that she's going to lose Iowa. So she said...
She was what? You do know how the tense of words works, correct?
Says that New Hampshire is going to fix the mistake that the people in Iowa are otherwise going to make. And that's pretty derogatory to be going around the state campaigning on the fact that an entire population of people are going to make a mistake by voting for somebody that they like more than you. I haven't quite figured...
Ask your dad. That he shit talks every place he didn't win. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ, if Trump loses New Hampshire, he's going to suggest nuking them before he opens fire on Mexico, dumbass. Of course. What do you mean you don't understand doing that? It's everything your dad does.
I haven't quite figured this one out, but it's it's rather remarkable, but
that, which, by the way, for the record, can be said about almost anything Eric encounters, including zippers, doorknobs, low door frames.
My father was the greatest president in the world to not just the state, but in general. What he did for the state, he loved this state.
He loved the state. Wait, hold on, fuckhead. You're talking about Hillary Clinton in the present tense, but your dad like he's dead. He's still alive. He's running. He's going to be on later, dum-dum. He loved this state until you motherfuckers made him come down here and do this shit. Now he loved this state until you made him go to Sioux Center, Iowa. Where the fuck is that? And talk to a gymnasium full of crackers that don't know what's going on. And I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. I want to go back to my gold bathtub. This is bullshit. Honest to God, is he eulogizing his dad? What the hell?
And I always tell the story. We got to Iowa. We didn't know what the hell we were doing in politics. I literally tell the story every single time. I get here. There's this young...
Yeah. We know. You're a broken 45. We get it. We know. You don't have any new stories. You haven't done anything worth talking about.
Staffer that drove me to one of the caucuses. And I asked him, I go, listen, I built hotels and other things. They go,
no, he hasn't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't build hotels. And no, you don't. No, not at all.
Somebody here has to tell me what exactly a caucus is, because I still can't quite figure it out. And by the way, just so you know, there are people in the state that can't quite figure it out, right? You probably deal with them every day.
You know, fucking Iowans. Like, I know, because I've been through it or whatever, but you fucking idiots. You guys, like... Anyways, that's why my dad used to love this state before he realized how fucking dumb you guys are.
And he goes, well, sir, you know, you're going to have exactly 5 minutes to speak, and you're going to talk about why, you know, your father is better than they are. And then they're going to speak. I go, who is they? Well, Ted Cruz is going to speak next to you. Jeb Bush is going to speak right next to you. And I'm sitting there saying...
Wait a minute. They're actually running, and I'm my dad's surrogate? So my dad loves this state so much, he didn't even fucking show? Asshole. Wait a minute. You can't tell it like he loved the people of Iowa. So he sent me his only begotten son, and by begotten we mean the one that has to plead the fifth in court. His only begotten son, that whosoever shall have to go to fucking Iowa shall not be Ivanka and have everlasting boredom. Amen.
Jeb Bush knows something about politics. I don't. Ted Cruz knows something about politics. I clearly don't. I think Ben Carson was there, a few other people. And I remember getting into that caucus location. I spoke in 4 gyms that night, and they were filled with people. There are thousands of people in those gyms.
Yes, for everybody.
And we spoke from the heart. Again, we didn't know anything about politics.
Uh-huh. And, well, look, I'll take your word for it, because you clearly have never spoken from the head.
We tried to come off as very sincere people who want to go.
We tried to come off as very sincere people. Did it hurt? No, he did not. We tried to come off as very sincere people. Oh, God. I think we have an Eric drop to add to shit.
Location. I spoke in 4 gyms that night. They were filled with people. There are thousands of people in those gyms. And we spoke from the heart. Again, we didn't know anything about politics. We tried to come off as very sincere people who want to go in and save a country that was otherwise in ruin coming out of the Obama administration.
Okay.
A country.
Yeah, ruin. Yes. You do realize when your dad left office, hundreds of thousands of Americans had died.
That was giving $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America.
Your dad gave Iran a waiver to sell oil to South Korea. That's where the $6 billion that was going to be released for the hostages came from. He only rescinded it when he got effectively called out in the press.
An administration that was literally targeting the First Amendment, freedom of religion, freedom of speech. They were
targeting it, were they? Well, apparently their aim sucks, because we still have both, and we didn't lose it at all. Like,
targeting the Second Amendment, they were targeting our Constitution.
Were they? The thing your dad said that he did not take an oath to, and that he would basically tear up if he had to.
Targeting our Pledge of Allegiance.
I don't know where I don't even know where that one came from. I almost feel like I know where most of their bullshit comes from. I guess I don't see Eric's stuff enough.
They're certainly targeting our flag. They were
well, yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely. The one thing you could say about that Biden fella is he doesn't want to have anything to do with the American flag. Clearly. Eric, thanks for pointing that out. Oh, targeting the flag. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's so many flags. I don't think you have to be a good target shooter to hit one. No, they're everywhere. Jesus.
Targeting holidays that we had.
Yeah, holidays. Arbor Day. They went after Arbor Day. Like,
they were borderline incompetent with 3/4 of the policies that they put in.
But they were borderline with those. Okay, so they weren't. And then I guess they weren't at all incompetent on the other ones, or? Like a quarter of them they were totally competent on. That was nice. That's a nice compliment.
And I never forget my father. He's reading the papers one day, and
I'll never forget my father. Seriously, he's not dead, Eric. Jesus Christ. Did somebody prank Eric before this? And he was just like, oh, Dad's dead. Time to eulogize him. Whatever. Shrug.
it's exactly what I said before.
Yes, we know you repeat yourself. We get it. Yes, you're saying the same thing over and over again.
The Obama administration gives $150 billion to Iran, including $1.8 billion in cash. Remember, they flew it in the cargo planes into Tehran? And my father's shaking his head saying, what the hell are we doing? What is this country doing? This is insane. They're literally chanting death to America over there, and we're giving them $150.
We didn't give it to them. It's their money. We released it so we wouldn't have to pay interest on it. The American taxpayer was paying interest on that money. They got it. They spent it. It's gone. Period. They didn't even spend it. And again, it was released only for buying aid. Now, you could say they used it to buy food and stuff, and then they didn't have to use other money to buy food, and they used that on weapons. Fine. But don't pretend that this didn't go to feeding people.
$1 billion and $1.8 billion in cash. And you know where that cash is going. That's not.
It was $108 billion to $1.8 billion. I guess they got stiffed, I think.
Not exactly going to help the children on the street of Tehran, right? That's.
Yeah, I don't know how many children there are on the street of Tehran. Kind of a weird thing to say.
Going into politicians' pockets.
Is it?
You know, what are they doing? And then my father would read, the headlines of some paper.
Yeah, he wouldn't read the articles, of course. Durr.
United States is ranked 30th in the world in terms of education. You think they're saying? No, this isn't the United States of America. We should be number one at everything we do because we're the United States of America. Everything we do, number one.
Yeah, well, then remove our schools from being funded by local taxes and guarantee a baseline through the Department of Education for funding for every school so that every school has a minimum that is equal to the best schools in other countries, because that's how you fucking do it. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, I'm getting something in my ear. The Republicans won't allow it? Interesting.
We should have the greatest military in the world.
We have the greatest military in the world.
Greatest economy in the world.
We have the greatest economy in the world.
We should have the greatest manufacturing in the world.
Currently we have the greatest manufacturing in the world.
We should.
I mean, China's is bigger, but we don't use slave labor. So my standards for greatness, personally, and I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, especially yours, Eric, but if your manufacturing sector still uses slave labor, I don't consider you great no matter how much shit you crank out. Yeah? Okay.
We should have everything, certainly education. There's nothing, and we're ranked, what, 30th?
There's nothing what? Finish the sentence, you highly educated Wharton asshole.
In the world. And by the way, on a percentage of money spent per kid, we were like 20 times the next highest country. And yet we're failing on this? And we're failing with the border, and we're failing with the military, and we're...
By the way, these are the people, I would like to remind you, who want to get rid of the Department of Education.
failing with our vets, and we're failing with just about everything else.
Oh, no. We're not failing with our vets. We're doing a lot of work for them. Specifically, there's one particular thing I think I'd point out is that the Obama-Biden administration really went after the veterans homelessness issue and as best they could. And they signed the VA Choice Act. Obama signed that in 2014. Your dad takes credit for it.
And my father wanted to do this, and I'll never forget.
Wanted to do what? He's been president. He was president for 4 years.
I was right next to him when Hillary Clinton called. I tell the story once in a while. In fact, I have a picture that I came across my...
Yes, we know. You're still telling stories from 2016. We get it. Do you know how fucked up? Wait a second. A point of order, Mr. Chairman, if I may. God damn it. Do you have any idea how fucked up your presidency would have to be for the surrogates that are out touting how great you are to have to go back to before you were elected in the first place to tell stories about how great you are? You're here to tell me that you can't drag fucking stories from year 2, year 3, year 4? What the ever-loving shit? You're telling election night stories from before the motherfucker was president to convince people to vote for him again? You're shitting me, right? Rant's over. Okay, sorry. Just fucking... He's still... How's that a thing? All right, I'm fine.
phone like 2 days ago. So it's when he was on the cell phone. You can only imagine.
Yes, the cell phone you hold like this. You hold your cell phone just like a landline, don't you? When are people going to finally do the... He was on the cell phone. Like, I'm getting a call. I'm like, what? Because that's... Especially these assholes that hold it like a fucking pancake. Where they, you know the... Like, all the... I don't know why they do. Like, the celebs who hold it like this. It's a cheese plate. Yeah, anyways, we're all here. Like, they're talking. I hate that shit. Hold it up to your ear or use an earpiece or some shit. But this, like, I'm avoiding the cancer, but I'm going to get chin cancer. But at least my ear isn't, I don't know, whatever. Not important.
Imagine the voice on the other end. You know, I could see it through his face as only a son can. Does that make sense?
No.
You know, and you hear her voice and just how tough it would. Yeah, not many of us are big fans, clearly. And that was a great moment. That was a great moment. And
it was so great. It was so great. And if I'm honest, the last great moment I had with my dad, and then the rest was, of course, his presidency, which affected you all as much as it affected me. It affected me worse in ways that only a son who's never truly felt loved and has to protect this asshole or I'm going to be broke can feel, you know.
I told this story this morning to a couple people that are in this
Jesus Christ, he's even repetitive in the same goddamn day.
room. But
I was telling this story, I told the story a couple of moments ago at the beginning of my remarks, and I think I'll tell it again because I don't really know why I'm here.
12 minutes after that phone call was made, the Washington Post does an article. This is when the impeachment of Donald Trump begins. They didn't even give the guy a damn shot.
No, they were referencing other people going after him.
You know, he won decisively. This wasn't like a close election.
No, he didn't. He lost by 3 million votes.
He won decisively in terms of the
No, he did not. He lost the popular vote by 3 million. You gamed the fucking Electoral College, but you lost the popular vote by 3 fucking million people. It doubled. It more than doubled in the next election. It's gonna triple next year.
Count and everything else. They didn't even give him a shot. It was the Washington, D.C. system. It was the crooked media, and we have plenty of it in this country. And they knew that they knew that the Russia thing was coming. I was the guy that got the phone calls from the Washington Post and the New York Times, right?
Is it true that you don't know anything? Sorry. Is it true that you don't know anything about what your dad does? Yeah. Tell that story.
Remember, Michael Sussman goes into the FBI headquarters.
Oh my fucking God.
We believe that the Trump organization is communicating directly with Russia through secret servers that they have in the basement. So I get a call from the Washington Post first and the New York Times second.
He's talking about the Alpha Bank servers, which were there. By the way, at the same time, like the Chinese opened a bank in his building, headquarters of the bank in his building. The mob had run a fucking like prostitution and drug ring out of his fucking building.
We hear you're communicating with the Kremlin. I go, excuse, is this April Fool's?
Yeah, that's what they said. That was a direct quote.
Like I'm literally like looking at my watch. We hear you're communicating with the Kremlin. I go, excuse me? Yeah.
Excuse me?
You have secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower. I can assure you, you don't have secret servers in the basement. First of all, you don't have servers, as I explained to some people today, in basements because basements flood. Let's just start with the obvious, right?
Hang on one moment. I gotta. Okay, sorry. I mean, this shit This is where the surveillance room is where the servers were, where they put the where they stored the footage because they were trying to it was just like an idiot attempt at like erasing shit by flooding the room. A Mar-a-Lago employee flooded the room where security footage was stored while draining the resort pool last October. What are the odds? An incident raised suspicions among Justice Department investigators who are nearing conclusion of their investigation into former President Trump's handling of classified documents. It's unclear if the room was flooded intentionally or by mistake. I'm sure it was an accident. I mean, and it's not, you know how I know it was an accident? Because they didn't have somebody like Eric Trump in charge. Because he knows, man. He knows you don't.
Secret servers in the basement of Trump Tower. I can assure you, you don't have secret servers in the basement. First of all, you don't have servers, as I explained to some people today, in basements because basements flood. Let's just start with the obvious, right?
Okay, yeah. So obviously, Eric's never been in charge of fucking Mar-a-Lago, I guess. But on top of that, you have basements and sub-basements in New York buildings, and no, they don't have to flood. And one of the reasons why you keep them down there in a lot of places is because they're fucking cold. Because it's cooler. You don't have to, the other thing you can do is, depending on what the weather's like where you are, you put them in the top of the building, and then you vent the heat out or use it because it's a lot. Hey, Boston Brian, you rule. I'm just saying. What's happening? Big, everybody, if Boston Brian's in the chat, just popping in. Let's give him a round of applause. That's right. What's happening? Brian, you are awesome. I got your text. I haven't had a chance to return it. I know I was like, because I'm persnickety about my communications, so it takes me a long time. I know. But he's awesome. That's all you need to know. All right. So let's take a couple more minutes of Eric being full of shit and telling old stories.
Second of all, a lot of the world is based on cloud computing now. You don't really even have servers, so this whole narrative was junk.
Okay, fuckhead. Yes, the world is based on cloud servers a lot of times, and people buy that cloud server space, but not for your illegal shit. That's the point. And of course there are servers in Trump Tower. They have, look, just like Mar-a-Lago, they have a security system. And that security system requires servers. And if you knew anything about construction, especially of modern buildings, you'd fucking know that, you fucking cement layer. What are you talking about? Good Lord. How in the... Oh, God, how am I always amazed he's this fucking stupid? How? Oh, that's right, concrete, not cement. You're right. Important distinction, that's true. I would argue that it's probably quickcrete, let's be honest. And more than, this is my impersonation of Eric Trump pouring quickcrete. Ready? Okay. Fellas, that's it. Thank you. Ta-da. It's unfortunate that I don't have a full screen, like a full body shot of me, but I'm not wrong. How many times do you think Eric has just been like chit-chatting with somebody? Eric, you might want to, excuse me, I'm talking to, whatever. Eric, I'm just saying, Mr. Trump, there might be Mr. Trump, you might want to, excuse me, I'm talking to one of the important building people that work in our building. And I'm just saying the concrete is still, anyway, excuse you, 1 second. Anyways, thanks so much. Yes, it was great, absolutely. So just put the money in a brown envelope and then put it under the stump as usual. Okay, see you later. Why didn't somebody tell me I was standing in concrete? Why? Hello? And scene.
0.8 billion. And America's willing to act. They're building the greatest army. They've rebuilt their forces. They're ordering the greatest planes on planet Earth.
Well, excuse me. Have you not been following the UFO shit, dum-dum? We have space planes now.
And it was peace through strength. He did a remarkable job. And you compare that to the current administration right now, and I'm not sure, and honestly, I'd give somebody credit if credit was due. I'm not sure if I can come up with a single quantitative metric right now, today, that's working.
I would say unemployment and wages. That would be a big part of it. Also, since that spill in Ohio, our trains have been doing particularly good under Mayor Pete because they've kind of remedied a lot of the dereg stuff that was going on previous. What else? Of course, Biden's going to get all the lead pipes taken out of stuff. The stock market, obviously, you guys were big fans of that fucking number until now. How about that? How about the S&P? How about that? How about the fucking NASDAQ, you dumb fuck? How about that? The only reason he thinks everything's going to shit is because the cost of borrowing money is up. That's exactly why he and his dad and Don and these other motherfuckers are all like, this sucks. It's because they live off everybody else. They don't have their own fucking money. They don't have a real goddamn job. They borrow money, leverage it, and make money on it in the interim. It's like that whole like, okay, if I borrow it at 1%, and I have and somewhere I can find an investment that gives me 3%, that's a no-brainer. It doesn't even have to be my fucking money. I just take this money and put it over there, give them 1% and keep 2%. That's how rich get richer forever. Fine, whatever the fuck. If you get great money, if you can do it. That's how a lot of pensions are run and all that. I got no problem with that. But when it's all you do, and you're not fucking retired, if it's just this fucking shell game these assholes do, then stop acting like you've created a system where you're, all the skyscrapers across the landscape of the country are, you beautify the country with your fucking giant silver proctology examiners.
What?
A little, like the poop towers that he's got.
Moon River.
I hate having to hunt for my buttons.
Working. The fact that oil prices went through the absolute roof. My father had the lowest oil.
Your father had the lowest oil prices literally because they couldn't give it away. It was below zero, fuckhead, because of COVID.
Prices in the history of the nation. Do you remember?
Right. No, your dad didn't. COVID did. I would call them poop shoot towers, Chris. They look like some sort of like a cross between a speculum. It's just the way he designed stuff. The Chicago Tower, you know what I'm talking about.
Do you remember he filled up the petroleum reserves for like peanuts?
No, I remember he could have filled it up. He could have had countries pay to pour their oil into it so that they could so their pumps wouldn't freeze. And he waited until it was like $35 a barrel before doing it to guarantee that the oil companies would make money. What the shit?
He was buying oil for like $1.28. It was unbelievable. It's like he picked it within like a day or two of the lowest, locked into a massive.
No, he didn't.
I filled up the whole energy reserves, which Biden ends up using.
No, he did not.
To try and win him re-election.
Okay, there is no alternate fucking universe. And Eric, maybe he doesn't know this. I'm assuming too much. Where Trump bought oil at $1.28 a barrel. This motherfucker, he was buying oil at $1.28 a cup.
You probably remember that. He drained the entire petroleum reserves, which, by the way,
no, he didn't.
Are meant for national defense, so not meant for.
Right. And if a country is trying to fuck with us and destroy our economy as we're recovering from something like COVID, you don't let them fuck with us. You if they go, we're going to manipulate the supply market for oil. That's why we have this as a backup. We're not doing it because we need to fill fucking tanks with diesel, you dumb fuck.
Or, trying to win yourself an election when you're grossly unpopular because you drive gas prices. So Biden comes in.
Because you drive gas prices where? By stopping Canadian shale oil from going through our waterways? Is that what the...
First day, what does he do? He cancels the Keystone XL pipeline. Gas prices go through the roof. Then next...
No, they didn't. No, they don't. Gas prices went up after Biden got in office about 3 months in because everybody was driving.
Next day, he comes out and says there's going to be a war on all fracking, all drilling, all this, all that, all that.
Yeah, that's not what he said, actually.
Well, everything.
A war on everything. I remember that Biden speech. Folks, it's going to be a war on everything. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a war on everything. Remember that speech? It was a great speech.
Instant war.
Instant war. Just add water, folks. Just add water. Adding water. You know what? Instant war. I will say he does he has his father's gift of hyperbole. It's just he managed to go from 0 to silly like in 6 seconds.
On all forms of energy. Guess what? Gas prices go through.
On all forms of energy. You're forgetting cancer and bird killing windmills and geothermal and solar, which obviously is a boondoggle for China.
The roof. So what follows gas prices? Inflation, right? And what else
No. What follows COVID? Inflation.
happens? Russia becomes rich. Our enemies become rich. Iran becomes rich.
We became richer.
Russia becomes rich.
Russia becomes rich. We became richer. We're more rich. We're way richer than they are.
It's awfully easy to fight a war against Ukraine when you're selling energy for $120 a barrel. It's awfully tough to fight a war.
Well, yeah, that's why we did the sanctions. That's why they did caps. That's why they allowed Europe to ease off of it, so you wouldn't just yank it away at the last second. It's why it's why the ruble's crashing. Here's the thing: you do realize that because he drive. I'm assuming he can drive. I know his dad can't drive, but do they think driving is like how kids think driving is, where you just yank the wheel left and fucking right? Right? Is that how they think everything works?
When, your greatest commodity as a country is at $25, $30 a barrel. It bankrupts them. It bankrupts our enemies. And beyond that, we were energy independent under Donald Trump. So we were sending...
Because no one was going anywhere. We had everybody had excess energy.
Oil and gas from the United States over to Europe. So we were making money.
We still are.
America was profiting off of it.
We still are.
Russia was making absolutely nothing.
Yeah, first of all, never happened during the Trump presidency. Good Lord.
They couldn't fight wars. They couldn't
fight wars. They couldn't. The only thing they could really do to show strength was stick their hand up your dad's ass.
Enrich themselves. Same thing with Iran. And instead, what happens? Energy prices go through the roof.
Yep, this roof is fucked up now. It must be a mess wherever he is.
Every time we go fill up at the pump, we get absolutely hammered. It's 3 times as expensive.
No, you're in Iowa. They're pretty close to normal.
But then the administration goes out and they spend $250 billion fighting a war on the other side of the globe that shouldn't have happened. Guess whose money that is? That's your money.
No, they aren't. We're not dumping that money. Half of that is Lend-Lease. And the rest of it, they pay back over time, just like the fucking Brits did for World War II. Again, America's not, I know people like to sell this horse shit everywhere they go, that America's in the war business and that's what keeps our economy afloat. Not even fucking close to true. If we did $1 trillion of military spending worldwide, it'd be a fucking miracle. And we still have a $25 trillion economy past that. The peace dividend and the consumer dividend in the U.S. economy far outweighs anything we could ever make or get from war. And wars always fuck that up. That's why stocks go down and a lot of oil stocks, and why other production stocks go down when the Suez Canal is threatened or some shit like that. For fuck's sake. When Ukraine's going to pay back with interest, everybody who over time, whoever helped them. The same way we did with fucking war bonds during World War II. We did it with our allies and with like U.S. citizens.
That's your taxpayer money. So not only are you paying more, not to make anybody depressed in this room, but not only are you paying more at the pump, but you're spending $250 billion of our money that could go into having the greatest schools in the world.
No, they wouldn't. You can't. That's federal tax dollars. Also, can I just say for the record, none of that money is fucking coming from Iowa. Some big ag business in Iowa, might have a margin where the profit they make on producing food is high enough where they chart as a major like tax point, I guess, for the U.S. government. We're like, oh yeah, this is a big win for us as revenue comes from this sector. But most of the time, it's pretty goddamn close to break even in farming. And if you have 3 shit years, you can write them off in the next 3 fucking years, right? If you have 3 good years, it'll balance them out. You end up not paying a lot of taxes because it's fucking hard work and it's hard. Like there's no such thing as a guaranteed harvest. All that kind of shit. Iowa's not the place that's paying for this. California is. New York is. The shit out of here.
Have the greatest manufacturing in the world that could take care of vets in
This motherfucker hasn't been to Phoenix in a long time.
this country.
Or Ohio.
That could be used for awesome programs.
Awesome.
That could benefit so many people.
Yeah, awesome beneficial things. Sounds like communism to me, I gotta say. What the fuck is this?
And guess what? We're paying for that. And how much Germany's contributed? Less than 10%.
Well, in fairness, they shut down their primary source of energy and had to retask their entire energy grid to take on liquefied natural gas instead of it in gaseous form in a pipeline. They shut off the pipeline and they went to liquefied natural gas, which they have to get from Qatar and they have to get from Norway in fucking trucks or on boats. The investment Germany had to make to get off of Russian natural gas is fucking enormous. That is a contribution to this. That is them cutting off Russian revenues. That is them killing the Russian war machine. Good Lord. We didn't have to do that. We sold them liquefied natural gas and before the Qataris and the Norwegians could ramp up to get stuff to them. Now that's who's selling it to them, which is why all these assholes are like, America wanted to kill Germany, their relationship with Russia, so that we could get rich in natural gas. We don't sell them to that natural gas. They get it from Norway and Qatar.
And they're not even contributing to NATO and other things. I mean, it's a
Yes, they are. They all are.
joke. So
Look, let me explain something else about like the NATO fucking investment bullshit that Trump was doing. We put in 2% and they put in each of these NATO countries has to put in 2% of their GDP or budget into military spending or contribute to NATO as far as, gearing up for the military. But understand this. They're right next to it. Those countries, Poland, the UK, France, Germany, all these countries, they're right fucking there. So if war breaks out in Europe, their entire military participates in NATO. Do you understand? Every penny they spend on their military and NATO shit is involved in a NATO fight, especially if it was with Russia. All of it. They're all in. That's what happens when that's what Article 5 would do. Everybody's fucking in. And since they're the countries there, where the fuck do you think their stuff is going? The United States only contributes this much because we're way the fuck over here. And we've got all kinds of, extensions in other countries, most of them protecting shipping lanes. But the entire German military becomes part of the NATO fight if it happens. So does France. So does the UK. So does now Norway and Sweden, Finland, all these countries. Right? So the idea that they weren't contributing when if there was a war, their entire military would be participating because the violation of Article 5 would automatically trigger their defense is idiotic. Yes, and they're not as big as we are. Right. It's just fucking... his dad does this shit all the time. All right.
guess what? We have
We're almost done with him anyways. He talks longer, but he didn't say anything.
skyrocketing inflation. Eggs go up 67%.
Fucking Biden and his goddamn avian flu. He goes down there. He wants to pet some chickens. I want to cough on them. And then what happens? Fuck me.
Everything goes up.
Everything goes up. Yes, the stock market, wages, Fuck everything.
You know, heating oil. Heating oil goes through the absolute roof. I mean,
How? Maybe it's a tall guy thing. Where does he think the fucking roof is?
there was a time where literally at Home Depot,
Literally.
you know, 2x4s are like 16, 17 bucks a 2x4. Everybody in here remembers that. The sheets of plywood were 80 bucks.
Mm-mm. First of all, no. Secondly, you know why? Because you could charge for it, and there wasn't that much of it. Supply and demand. Demand was very high. Supply was down. Why is that? Because your fucking dad let a bunch of people die of COVID. Good Lord. Ugh.
It was insane. Our entire supply chain was absolutely shot and went to garbage.
While your dad was president.
And you know where Pete Buttigieg was, our great secretary
Yeah, I think he was running for president.
of transportation? When nothing was on the shelves and a piece of plywood cost 80 bucks, Pete Buttigieg went on paternity leave, because why wouldn't you leave?
Paternity leave. How dare he? First of all, what's he going to do? Fucking help him load it in there, asshole? He's a secretary of transportation. Yeah, and he wasn't there when all this shit happened.
All the shelves in the country empty and
All of the shelves. That was the saddest part. You go into anybody's house and everybody's just shelves are empty.
go on a hiatus. And when Kamala Harris became border czar, you know where she went? She went to Vietnam, because if you become border czar and you have a massive immigration problem and they're overrunning our southern border,
They aren't.
tens of millions of people a year, why not
Tens of millions of people a year. I guess it doesn't matter. I guess he just fucking just says words, right? He's like just a Pez dispenser of right-wing hyperbole. Is that what this kid is now?
go to Vietnam if you're a border czar? I mean,
Because she's not. She's the vice president. You're also the border czar. She's not technically the border czar. She was just put in charge of it. The border czar would be an actual position. But since we have... never mind.
I mean, think about that.
We have a Homeland Security Secretary. That would technically... That's why we don't have a... Whatever.
And then you have the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Oh, you mean the thing that actually happened after 21 fucking years?
Now, where's Joe Biden? He's in Delaware because, after a 20-year war, spending trillions of dollars over there and losing thousands of people.
I'm sorry, you do realize he wasn't president during any of that time.
And having thousands of people injured.
Yeah, we know. During your dad's time, there were 96 dignified exchanges of dead service members, and your dad went to 4 of them.
Probably people in this room right now. Why
who are dead now? You probably were dead then. You're probably still dead.
wouldn't you be in Delaware as literally the Taliban is chasing us out of one of the greatest military installations which we paid for anywhere on Earth?
What? No, they weren't literally chasing us out of anywhere. Is this guy just going to shit on the troops all the time?
It's a clown show.
You're a clown. What are you talking about?
It's a
Yeah, the Taliban chased people out of NORAD. That's
clown
right.
show. And, he needs this job like a hole in the head. I say that every single day. I say that on repeat. The last thing that I can
Oh, yeah, we know. You say things over and over again. We're like...
tell you Donald Trump needs is the presidency. And
believe me, then it's the last thing we need is him in the presidency.
And this headache and this job.
Yeah, this fucking headache. You know what I mean? You people. I blame you people. You know? Fuck, man.
If he was to announce that he wasn't running...
Uh-huh. They would just leave him alone. They wouldn't even enforce the law anymore. They'd just be glad to see him go. Is that what we're gonna... That's what we're gonna...
They would leave him alone overnight.
Ah, I said it. That was an easy one, I gotta say. Fucking
right, because all they're trying to do is
well, why don't he try it? See what happens. Prove him. I mean, look, Ronnie Jackson said that Trump is going to live to be 200 years old if he stops eating junk food, and he's not going to, so he'll live to be at least 120, so he can run again in 4 years. Who gives a shit? Drop out and see if your lawsuits go away. See if they drop the lawsuits and see if he immediately, he stops running and they immediately go, you know what? You can keep the classified documents. Shit.
keep him off the ticket. You saw that in Maine this week. You saw that in Colorado.
Yes, and that's because he took an oath to the nation before he tried to have an insurrection.
As absurd as that is, he'd live a much better life, but the country is truly going down the tubes based on incompetency. I mean, and you have to wonder if it was, I truly do believe
it has to be on purpose. Biden has to be doing this on purpose, making the stock market go up and keeping unemployment down and narrowing the distance between people of color and white people in the unemployment. He's got to be doing this on purpose. I mean, ew. Who would even allow such a thing? It's disgusting.
It's intentional.
Yeah, totally.
But it's too severe to be incompetence.
I don't know. Your dad was incompetent. It was pretty fucking severe.
It's too severe to be incompetence at this point. And then you look at every single system that's been weaponized in this country.
Oh, all the weaponized systems. Yeah.
Education's been weaponized.
Oh, when they educate, that's why we're 30th in the world, because we started weaponizing.
Higher education, you're seeing what's happening at Harvard right now. I mean, think about it. You have the president of Harvard that can't say that the genocide of Jewish people is not allowed on the Harvard campus?
Yeah, I'm Well, I'm glad she stepped down. I didn't realize she was turning Harvard into a concentration camp. It's brilliant take on it. She won't even say that genocide can't happen on the campus. I'm pretty sure that's where she would draw the line.
I mean,
Boo is right. Thank you, person in the audience by yourself. Boo is right. Boo allowing genocide on the actual campus. Ugh.
Tell me that's not like the easiest question that any person in the history has ever been asked. And
well, not any person, obviously. The Germans at a certain point in history would have had a very different answer. They would have had it almost anywhere. Why couldn't we have it on the campus of Harvard? A boy can dream, can't he? Right, Ava? Right? Yeah. You got to watch the big kind of anyone at any point in history, especially when you're dealing with something that's part of one of the horrors of history.
And their response is it's based on context?
What does that even mean?
Are we out of our minds? It's not. There's no context to that. Like, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong. And you see what they did in Loudoun County and the incredible moms in Loudoun County. Thank God for moms, by the way.
Let's hear it for the moms. Where's the MILFs? I mean, moms in the crowd. Where are the... How's our MAGA MILFs? But MAGA moms. God damn it. Quiet part out loud, Eric. Don't say the quiet part out loud. Is this mic on? God damn it.
Thank God for moms. I truly...
Yeah, thank God for moms. Or dads would have to push us out through their pee hole. The screaming would be overwhelming. What a fucking... This is like a bad stand-up just trying to suck up, there's a bachelorette party here, and this looks like her third marriage, so maybe if I get in trouble.
I mean that. I've got the greatest wife in the world who, thank God she does the job that she does with our kids. And
the job she does with our kids. Well, thank God that's her day job, and she can't quit it, and start singing.
But you saw these moms stand up and fight like hell and change around that whole system. They were indoctrinating.
Yeah, they changed around that whole system. Yeah, it's not even a Commonwealth anymore. It's
children. It was revisionist history of each one of our kids. And there's nothing more precious and nothing more sacred to all of us than our kids, and having them grow up with.
All right, this is just fucking word salad at this point. I have no fucking idea. Like, he's just tacking different. It's like refrigerator poetry with MAGA talking points. Like, he just takes the bucket of magnets and just goes flack, and then goes over and just reads the fridge. You know, that's why we got to make America. There's communists everywhere. Great, again, best oil prices, and yet incompetence. This crime family is, it's unbelievable. It's so funny. I was trying to, like, be sort of comedically hyperbolic, but I sounded just like him. This is too good. All right. Let's dance. Should we check in on, where is he? I've got to grab this. Hold on one second. Take this and take this, copy this, go up to here. Let's see, and I'll open this. Whoops, get back over here, you rat. Right here. And let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, here it is. This is the Jesus. Oh, that's the whole thing. God damn. All right, we'll back up. There he is on Nunt Watch, and then we'll back up. We'll just pick up here. This is we're going to check in with Trump. He's speaking in Sioux Center, Iowa. Got any of that? You got any sarsaparilla? Sioux City. That'll do her. I like your style, dude. Last place I worked at, everybody was so dumb that there was a sign over the urinal that said, "Do not eat the big white mint." And I'll be goddamn if this guy didn't walk out of the bathroom with a white hockey puck in his mouth every goddamn night. He's rallying his supporters. It's a caucus thing, but whatever.
Between 19 and 24 or 25. I wonder why that is.
Hold on, wait. I don't know what he's leading.
Just perfect for the military, isn't it, huh?
Hold on.
The country's only in South America. They do.
Oh.
They come from.
Oh, I see. This is him talking about the age of people crossing the border. Now, don't trust your lying eyes that show you a bunch of women and kids mostly, and then men along with them. No, it's all military-age males basically wearing body armor.
From the Congo. They come from Africa. They come from.
Oh no, not the Congo and Africa. You know what those people are like.
Asia. Many people from China.
Yeah, totally. China.
They happen to be about the age of this gentleman right here, around 20 for perfect age.
For what? I mean, what did you have in mind?
In his early 20s. Just perfect for the military, isn't it, huh?
Isn't it, huh? They're also perfect for workers, too. That's where they don't have families and they can trek across to another country and try to look for work so they could send fucking money back. That's also perfect age for construction, working at Mar-a-Lago, you dumb fuck.
27,000 people from China, all males, all between 20 and 25.
Yes, because they can't find wives.
Perfect for the military. I wonder what that's all about.
Also perfect for, I guess, starting a tech company or working in the food service industry or any job where you have to stand on your fucking feet all day.
So it's a pretty scary thing. We have them coming in.
Yeah, 25,000 Chinese people. Frightening.
From Russia. The same.
Honestly, what the fuck does he think the Chinese people are coming here are gonna do? I'm dead serious. What is he? Do you think these are going to be like commie terrorists? Or are they going to infiltrate schools and start, selling? Like, you need a system more like China. You mean the one you escaped? Yeah.
Same thing. So you all seem to be between 19 and 24 or 25.
And tight asses and just ripped. And most of them are just fucking cut and they're oiled up. And it's, anyways, you know what I'm saying. Like this fella.
I wonder why that is. We're gonna be paying a price.
It's like, build a wall. Yeah, it's at that age, they can climb right over it. I mean, you know, a wall might keep out your women and little kids, but these guys can scale that fucker. I mean, that's the thing, you know.
But we'll take care of it. If we get in, we're going to be taking care of it. We're going to have no choice but to take care of it. We're not going to have a country.
What does take care of it mean? Explain take care of it.
What?
I'm dead serious. What are you going to do? Mount 50 cals on the top of the motherfucker and track them with body heat and AI for anybody of anybody of military age and size immediately just gets a fucking silenced shot through the corpus callosum.
Our middle class is being crushed by Biden's crippling inflation. The inflation has been the worst that
crippling
we've ever had. They say 72 years, sir. Be accurate.
Do they? Also, this idea, his magical team that keeps showing up, they say, sir, don't say that. Sir, don't say this. And sir, say this thing, sir. Always say this thing, which is, I mean, we know the sir stories are bullshit, but the idea that the flip side of this argument is that he hires a bunch of people that tell him stuff and he ignores it anyways. So what the fuck is he doing with your tax dollars if he's that dumb with his hired staff for his campaign? I take all your money that you give me by going to donaldtrump.asshole and you send me the contributions and I put that in a special thing and then I hire people to help me run this campaign who quite frankly can go fuck themselves. I don't listen to them. They're stupid. Not a one of them has a good idea. They're always telling me stupid shit and I always know I'm doing well when I ignore them.
I think it's the worst we've ever had. There's never been anything like this where your food prices have tripled and...
Yeah, no one has eaten in days. Have the food prices tripled?
Every single thing you do, the energy...
Everything you do.
Energy prices, look at what's happened to energy.
Oh, energy. I don't have it. Even energy drinks are 3 times what they used to be. Not in money, just in content and stuff where basically the...
Violent criminals are running wild and Democrats...
Well, that's what they do. I mean, honestly, they're violent criminals. What do you expect them to do? Tiptoe around? I guess some of them are quiet, the ones you have to watch anyways.
Democrat-run cities while law enforcement has been weaponized against Christians and conservatives and...
For what? Just being Christian? What do they do? Round you up because you're wearing a cross?
People of faith. It's weaponized against Christians. It's really
against Catholics?
Really weaponized. I don't know how many Catholics are in the room. Maybe not that
well, they're all at the Biden thing watching their president.
many here. Are they? Well, what are we doing with the Catholics? I mean,
what is with the Catholics things or whatever? I don't even know.
They're persecuting Catholics.
Oh, they get them on the rack. It's like an inversion of the Spanish Inquisition.
And then the Catholics, it's 50-50 between Catholics and us.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just the revenge of the Inquisition. You know what I mean? You got a bunch of like Jews and Protestants just stretching Catholics on a rack, just to even things out for equity. You know,
Trump, 50-50, and I say, it's amazing. I got a call from the Cardinal, New York.
Oh yeah, the Cardinal, the bird that lives there, right?
A very good man, and
he's a good man. You know, the Cardinal, him.
He said, "Sir,
I don't usually say sir. I only use that when I'm praying towards the Lord."
This was during the pandemic. He said,
"Oh yeah, remember when you were president? You mean, and you were fucking things up?"
"Sir, we need billions of dollars to help us with our education, our schools."
What? I don't know what to tell you. Tough shit. Church and state, motherfucker.
Losing a fortune, and I got him the money. It was very important to get it because they do a tremendous service.
You got him the money, and then Biden came in and went, Catholic schools don't deserve money. Take it back and sue them. Sue these schools. Taking the money back, folks. Right? It's going to be the new thing, isn't it? How's it going, Lenny?
And they have great schools, but they were hurting badly during that. And I was able to get him the money.
The taxpayer money for the religious schools for the Catholic. So, yeah, you were able to get him religious schools funding from the state, were you? And your folks are your other folks are good with that? Your evangelicals are all cool with Uh-huh.
And then I look at the vote. It's like 50-50. And I say, why? But now they are persecuting Catholics in particular. I don't know what's going on with the Catholics. You guys are
Well, maybe if you read a story on it, you would know they're not persecuting the Catholics.
Catholic. What's going on with Catholics? Why are they
Yeah, somebody walk up there and explain it to them.
doing this with Catholics? Something's happening. But they're doing it with
Something's happening. I don't even know what is going on with the whole Catholic. I hear Catholic, people throw the word Catholic around, and
Christians, and they're doing it with parents, and they're doing
yeah, parents.
it with a
Oh,
lot of people. And
yeah, they keep like the Biden administration comes in there and they're playing like the song "Parents Just Don't Understand" from 1986.
you explain that one. Let's go and get the parents at the school board meetings.
Is that what I mean? It sounds like something SWAT would say.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Totally.
It's ridiculous.
It is a little ridiculous. Yeah, once you think about it for a second, you're like, this is fucking stupid. But then,
But we have wars in Europe. We have war in the Middle East. And China is threatening Taiwan. Iran is inches away from a nuclear bomb. They're going to have a nuclear bomb. They're saying,
well, of course they are. It's only inches away. It's right there. I mean, how short are their fucking arms? I don't know. Are Iranians, I haven't seen a bunch of them. Are Iranians, do they have pterodactyl arms? And you're like, oh, fuck. If only we... we must get this... If only my arms were normal length, I could... Oh, fuck you, Obama.
34 days. And when we were in charge, Iran was broke. Iran had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah.
Hezbollah?
They were broke.
No, they weren't. Or we wouldn't have had to kill Qasem Soleimani, because that was during the time when he created the entire network. Shithead. That's what that means. That was all about. You remember the guy? You were like, the worst terrorist in the world. We got the guy. We got Qasem Soleimani. We got him. He's so important that we got him. You know why you got him? Because he was the guy in charge of creating the proxies for Iran and coordinating them. Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. Everybody's got an H. Come on now.
Now they're very rich. They have $250 billion, they say, not including the $6 billion they got for a hostage trade.
They didn't get the $6 billion.
We got
It's crazy. That's nuts. That it's still in a South Korean bank and isn't going anywhere.
got 5 and they got 5. I said, all right, that's good. That's better than they usually do. Usually, we give up, we gave up the king of terror. With the
We gave up the king of terror. I will always be king of terror.
basketball player, Brittany Griner.
Boo! Getting an American back for the king of terror. Thank you very much. ED. Thank you very much.
We gave up the greatest purchaser of military arms and equipment and very deadly equipment in the
He's an arms dealer. We gave up an arms dealer. Yeah.
history of the world, they say.
No, not even close. No, he was not in the history of the world. Get the fuck out of here.
He was called the Phantom of Death.
Really? Did he walk around like this all the time? Honest to God, I hope Rudy Giuliani gets to play him in the movie because he's already got the look.
So they got him.
The Phantom of Death? Uh-huh.
And we got Brittany.
Who is the Phantom of fucking nothing, I would just like to say. They got a whole Phantom. Not that Phantom, not Billy Zane.
And that was a tough trade.
It was tough, but, it's mid-season, and what are you going to do? You change head coaches, and you're fucked.
It was a tough trade, but, at least she's standing now for the national anthem, I think, but she didn't stand too much. She always wanted to tie
She better. What are you going to do?
her sneakers during.
You better stand for it. Otherwise, it'll show that you have the freedom to stand or not stand, and then it'll actually mean something. Like the flag, which if you kneel in front of the flag or don't stand or cover your heart during the anthem, it literally just empowers it more because the whole point is freedom. Even if we don't like the freedom, as long as it doesn't hurt me, I don't have to. And that's what actually makes the no. All right.
The national anthem. I didn't like that. I didn't like it. That was the time when she heard the national anthem. That meant it was time for her to tie up her sneakers. I don't like that.
Well, okay, all right. I'm glad you don't like that. It's important. Thanks for letting us know what you like and you don't like. Besides, like fish delights. Don't like women in general, unless they're your blood relatives.
But our military has gone woke, and we're teetering on the edge of World War III.
Wait a minute. How are we teetering? I thought we were already in the tubes of hell. How is tubes of hell? We're teetering on the brink of it? All right. Well, that definitely sounds worse than just being on the brink or rapidly approaching the brink.
We've never been closer.
Yeah, we're teetering right now. We have never been. I mean, we were closer before when everybody was talking about it. Like when in the pipeline thing, everybody said we were definitely if we were in mid teeter, I think you could say. I think we were right in the center of Teeter Town.
And we are right now.
Uh-huh.
To World War III.
And you're in Iowa. If this is the closest we've ever been, and we've had a couple of almost, like the Cuban Missile Crisis. We've had a lot of real close calls, bombers in the air. And, if you were important, you'd be in a fucking bunker somewhere, which you aren't.
There's only one candidate in this race who's going to be up to the task of saving America from every single Biden disaster starting on day one. Number one.
He had to read. Presumably that's about him. And he had to read it.
I know the players on the other side, and they always respected your country. I don't want to say they respected me, but boy, did they respect this country when I was in charge.
How do they respect? I guess they respect the country, but they didn't respect you. So they just assumed we would vote you out.
Respected us like they've never
respected us before. I wouldn't say it's because of me, but they never respected us before. That whole greatest generation bullshit. Fuck that.
Like they've never respected us.
Yeah, Panama Canal, eat shit.
Right?
Fuck you, World War II.
You wouldn't have had Ukraine. You wouldn't have had Israel being attacked.
You do realize Israel was attacked every single month he was in office.
Russia wouldn't be attacking Ukraine, but you would.
Ukraine, the disputed territory was a constant battle all during his presidency.
You wouldn't have had the attack on Israel. You wouldn't have had inflation.
Well, yeah, because the economy would have crashed. We would have had deflation, and you can't have inflation unless there's demand. If you don't have demand, because you just let Americans keep dying, because fuck it.
You wouldn't have had any of this stuff. You wouldn't
any of it.
Have China longing to go into Taiwan.
Why would they all of a sudden long for something? And by the way, they're longing to go into Taiwan because it's going to be a long fucking time before they can do it without losing 1 million soldiers in an afternoon.
They're just waiting for the right moment.
Yes, then that moment is at best 30 years away.
Wouldn't even talk about it.
No, they wouldn't talk about it because you were going to give it to them. They didn't have to talk about invading it. You were going to hand it over to them at some point, just like you were going to hand over the rest of Ukraine to Russia. And then, unfortunately for those guys, oops.
They weren't even talking about it, though.
Well, you don't speak Chinese. They mention it all the time. I'm telling you, they were definitely talking about it. They were just talking about it in Chinese.
And they won't be, I promise you that.
Yes, no, they're not going to do it because they're not doing it now.
But with your vote in these caucuses, we're going to finish the job and we're going to get it done. And
get her done! Ooh! Yeah, he said the magic words, man.
We're going to actually be stronger than ever before. It's hard to believe because you see the damage that's been done. No president has ever. I've often say you can take the 10 worst presidents in the history of our country, you can add them up, put them together, and they haven't done the damage that Joe Biden's done to this country. What he's done to this country is unthinkable. Biden's record is
No, it's quite thinkable. I mean, the stock market's at 37K, fuckhead.
Broken streak of weakness, incompetence, corruption, and
job and wage gains.
Failure. Other than that, he's doing quite well, isn't he? Don't you? That's a hell of a list.
That's a hell of a list of words that don't actually be
That's
typed.
a hell of a list, right?
It's right. It's a bunch of words about terrible, terrible, bad, and terrible of all the terrible, terrible things. Other than being terrible, he's terrible.
That's why Crooked Joe is staging his pathetic fear-mongering campaign event in Pennsylvania today. Did you see him? He was stuttering through the whole thing. He's going he's a threat to democracy.
Is that how it went? Did you watch it? Yeah. What do you think the odds are he watched it? What do you think? Think he watched it?
Weaponized government. He's saying, I'm a threat to democracy. He's a threat to democracy. Wow. Okay. Couldn't read the word. He's a threat to democracy. You know how bad the press is? You know what they do? They take me saying that like that, and they say, Trump couldn't say the word democracy. Look. No, that's what they do. They're so bad.
They are bad. And he's talking specifically about RSBN and his own campaign cameras.
You know, I don't know if you saw it. I was on
Yeah, the Lincoln Project used you stumbling around.
Sean Hannity, a good guy, really good guy, right?
He's really good. Client number 3, I think is what his friends call him.
And we did a town hall, and he says, tell us, you're not going to be a dictator, right?
Oh, this is the wrong story to go into. This is literally the wrong direction.
I said, Sean, I'm going to be a dictator for one day, for drilling and for closing the border. And after that, I'm not going to be a dictator.
Well, then nothing will stick. What do? Close it for a fucking hour? What do you think's going to happen? What do you do? Write an executive order and then it'll get thrown out? Nobody will honor it because it's unconstitutional? And also, how do you order companies to drill? They've got 9,000 leases they haven't used yet. What the fuck? How do you make them drill, baby, drill? Well, how does that work? Other than just go, we're going to let you guys go, fuck up where the aquifers are. The places we know there's oil, but if you drill there, it'll probably get into the drinking water. And you give some fucking lunatic at Exxon, the go-ahead to drill there. That's it.
So remember the way I said, I'm going to be a dictator for one day, for those two things, and then after that, I'm not going to be. So I said, I'm going
Well, then this shit's going to go away the next day, so I'm not worried about it.
to be a dictator for one day, for drilling, right? For drilling, and then...
For drilling, for drilling. What is that? Hold on.
Dictator for one day, for drilling, right? For drilling.
For drilling, I gotta drill. It's like he's doing a fucking Dana Carvey character. We're gonna drill. Keep it drilling. Always drilling. Gotta drill. You gotta do it. Drilling.
And then, so what do they do? What do they do?
Fox?
We say drilling in the border. Then I go, and then after that, I'm not going to be a dictator, Sean, one day. So they have me on the news all over the place. I'm going to be a dictator. Cut. Did you see that?
Did you see that? Oh, all right. No, where Eric got it.
This is the fake news media. They have the
Boo. Ah, fuck fake news. Boo.
first part, I'm going to be a dictator. Cut. And they had to cut it fast because I kept it going fast because I know exactly what they do.
Apparently you didn't talk fast enough.
They had me the other day. I was imitating Biden because he can't walk off a stage, right? He can never find the exit. So they had me turning around and looking for them.
And they made it look like it was really me and blah, blah, blah.
You never find. I mean, these stages have a lot of stairs on them. Some of them have 4 or 5 stairs, and he had like so many stairs.
Gia, real quick, here's what you need to do. There's one way on and off stage. You come in the way you go out the way you came in. If you say these stairs have 5 different ways to leave, then why is it fucking weird that Biden in every city, especially where he fucking knows everybody, is like, oh, I think I'll go out this way. Oh, no, we're going this way? Okay, cool. Like, after fucking 6 cities and speeches and all that kind of shit. You kidding me? Lazy.
Couldn't find it. And they showed me that I couldn't find the way off the stage. In other words...
Yeah, why didn't they just show you walking down the ramp like fucking Bambi?
They said he couldn't find the way off the stage.
No, they didn't. They put it in the ad of you stammering and talking shit and saying stuff like, whatever, like...
De-engineering.
And
They're going to be a country no more. I actually think it will not. It will be a country no more.
And shit like...
Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown. Gave us the Mustang. Here I am like an idiot.
Mm-hmm. That they showed that stuff, and then they showed you stammering around. And the point was, how dare he make fun of Biden for supposedly not knowing his way off a stage when he's talking like that the entire time?
And it's just terrible. They're so bad. You guys are so dishonest. You're so pathetic. That's why they're all going out of business, I'll tell you.
Yeah, RSBN is not doing well. That's true.
They are just so pathetic.
Oh, they're so pathetic. It's terrible.
Who wants people coming in from foreign countries?
I know.
And you know, it's so important. Having an honest media is so important.
It
but
is.
They just aren't. And it's a lot of times what they don't say. It's not only what...
Yeah, what they...
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it.
I know.
What they say, it's what they don't say. But so
It is more what they don't say than what they say. Like the stuff you say they said that they didn't say, that's very telling. Fake news, man.
I have to be very careful with sarcasm because I'm a little sarcastic sometimes.
No. No, you cover lies with sarcasm, and it makes no sense.
And you say something, and everybody there is laughing, having a good time, but they put it on as though you mean it. You know, it's...
Yeah, give us an example.
So you can't have any fun during these rather terrible times if you think...
Yeah, and usually this is the best time to have fun is during rather terrible times. I mean, the country's going to hell. Why even bother being sarcastic? Why? I mean, what's the point of being passive-aggressive in times like these?
Think about it. Because Biden, I mean, if you take a look at what he's doing on the border, or inflation, or our military, that horrible day in Afghanistan, you look at what he's...
You mean the last day? You mean the day he actually got us out? You mean the fact that we have not been in Afghanistan since the first year of Biden's presidency? After 21 fucking years?
Done with energy all throughout the world, we're an embarrassment as a country. We become...
No, not really. Of all the countries you like and seem to tout or whatever, we're the only one that doesn't have triple-digit inflation.
Become an embarrassment as a country. The only reason Biden is at Valley Forge abusing George Washington's legacy. I mean, he's abusing Washington's legacy, and he never...
Yeah, he's wearing his wooden teeth. He's got the wig on. They're reenacting the falling of his favorite soldier.
Never sticks up for Washington. You know, they've taken the name George Washington off many schools and many different... Can you believe it?
No, they haven't.
The name George Washington is coming down from many schools, many
schools, like George Washington Carver Community College and George Jefferson Washington. They took that one down. It's just so sad.
In California, and he ought to stop that.
Yeah, George Washington should come back from the grave and put a stop to
But
that.
it's a legacy to... It's really a...
Also, you can't, I guess, unless you want to put a lot of money into the Department of Education, and the Department of Education can run the schools, and then you can call them whatever the fuck you want. You can call them freedom schools like an asshole if you want, but otherwise you have no fucking say. These are local.
Slander and a horrible statement he's making to 75 million Americans. That's what they say. It's much more than that. You saw the numbers that came out yesterday on the election. Everybody saw those numbers. They were released. The fake news doesn't want to talk about them.
What numbers is he? Oh, is he talking about that like printout that he's bullshitting about? Okay, let me show you something real quick. And God damn it, it was so nice. CSL put this in the in with the list of stuff. That's right. Let's see if I can find it real quick. There it is. Yeah, this shit. He put out this report And there's this post. So you can read for yourself at this link. There it is. So I read this whole thing. And if you'll notice, there's no kind of, there's a title page, but there's no sort of attribution. There's no header. There's no footer. It's just fucking posted. No, and by the way, horse shit. But all of this goes through like, we lost it. It was this margin, blah, blah. And a lot of these things, like here's Fox News election night, when, it's attributed because they called it for Arizona, right? And they shouldn't have, or some shit. The final swing state, Arizona, was fraudulently called for Joe Biden by Fox News before then. Okay, that's not an attribution, an attribution or a footnote. That's your opinion. It's so stupid. Like, it goes on like that. It is a fraud to conceal a fraud, right? Well, that's why Trump's gonna lose in New York, fuckhead. So he goes to this whole business about how they reused, because they had to do so many votes ahead of time. They had to reuse machines they had used in-person machines to do the early vote because of COVID. So they took the cards out of them, and then they put new cards in them on actual voting day. Once early voting was over, they took the cards out, put them aside, put a new one in the machine, and then used them on the day, because they didn't have, Georgia traditionally doesn't have enough, historically does not have enough machines to go around. And that's been one of the problems for a very long time. And the Republicans aren't interested in fixing it all that much. So but there were so many people voting early that they used the ones you would use in a voting booth in the offices you could come to and vote in early, right? And that normal swap out wouldn't happen during a regular election, but because of COVID, that's how it happened. And they're like, this breaks the rules. And okay, the governor, because it's an emergency, has the right to say, we're going to use these machines to do the early voting because there's such a huge early voting turnout. That's it. Will AI affect voting? No. Anyways, it's just, I went through the whole thing. It is so fucking lame. And my favorite part of it, though, maybe I'll show you this. Let's see. There's a ton of IBIDs in here, which is basically they're just using the same attribution, in place attribution. We already gave a thing that said that this was from it. So they're using the same source multiple times and just kind of throwing back to it. And all of it's from people who had their shit thrown out, their court cases thrown out, which were nonsense. I saw trucks coming in with ballots. Really? Do you have any pictures of that? Do you have proof of it? Was it in the recount? Did you see any of that shit? No. Will you sign an affidavit and come into court and present that to the court? No. Right. Same shit. And this whole the risk limiting audit spreadsheet analysis. This is all this thing about statistically, it never happens like this. And that's not proof. Just because your dude is spectacularly unsuccessful and we're in a pandemic. Yeah.
We love him. We love the job. We love the job he did for the farmers, for the whole state. But let's sit home and watch it. Maybe it'll be a little bit cold that night or a little bit rainy.
Darling.
So important that we get out and vote and really show the strength, because
yeah, you got, you can't just sit back.
You have to slab it.
That's absolutely true. You totally have to.
Asshole.
Right.
The only way we can get hurt is if you sit home and
Oh, sorry, this is quieter. I'm sorry. This is the Trump version, right? Yeah, you're in the wrong place.
But it's a disgrace what happened in 20.
Totally a disgrace that happened. Don't let this hand position fool you. I am macho as fuck.
2020, it's a disgrace, and everybody knows it.
No, well, it's a disgrace that you were running and you were actually one of the candidates in a country as important as the United States, I think. Yeah.
I think they have 81% of the people understand that. But he knows he can't show his face at the Southwest border.
81%. He thinks he won 81% of the vote when he lost. Not even when in the election he won. Good Lord.
Or in East Palestine, Ohio, where I love those people. They were great people. I went there.
They were, and now they're gone.
There early when they had
you went there early.
That really bad situation.
What was it? What happened in East Palestine?
And
Why are you pronouncing it like Berenstein?
he went to the auto workers' factories. He's given away our auto business to China, mostly to China. You could sit down if you want. Go ahead.
Yeah, sit down. This is going to go on for a long time.
Go ahead. See, I'm not kidding with those people that sit and you can't stand up in the front, right? But thank you very much. But, you know, people are waiting for 3-4 days in these things. That's cold out there. That's a long wait, right? It's pretty cold out there.
Yeah, you don't wait 3-4 days for a rally to be in the front row of it if you're fucking from there. Again, that's where I call bullshit on the whole. People are, you know, I don't know, whatever. He's rallying his supporters. Uh-huh. Hold on. Where's the, yeah, where's, oh, it's this.
Even outside, it's packed.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am like an idiot.
Jesus.
I said, where's my coat? I had to walk 15 feet from the car to the... I said, do you have a coat? And these people are waiting for 3 days. So
I don't, this is, I guess he's trying to compliment the locals for being stout.
Oh, that's good. That means you're hardy. You're hardy.
Right.
People, you're
Sorry, not stout, hardy.
strong people. Thank you. Thank you very much. But if you take a look, Crooked Joe
Yeah, if you juke.
cannot talk about a single issue that matters to hardworking Americans because
Not a single one. Not manufacturing, not infrastructure, not gas prices coming down, not inflation coming down, not having a recession, not the Goldilocks economy that seems to, you know, is baffling economists everywhere. Yeah, you can't.
because he's failed you and he's betrayed us on every single issue, and on policy he's the worst ever. And
Worst ever in policy. Oh,
people have known that for a long time.
Yeah, they've known it for a long time. That's why they elected him, to be that awful.
Secretary of States have said he doesn't know what he's doing.
And yet, you lost to him. What does that say about you?
Obama said it. A lot of people said it. But he doesn't know
But he kicked your ass.
what he's doing. You look at what's happening in the Middle East. You look at what's going on with Ukraine. He doesn't
Never would have happened if you were proven
know
negative.
what
blah,
he's
blah, blah.
doing. Biden and the radical left Democrats lie to us because they know that Americans can't stand the truth about them because they know how badly they're doing.
Don't quite know what that sentence was, but
They are doing so badly. You know, they start off
how badly are they doing?
with a base because people said, a friend of mine called up, we're leading by 11 in a number of places. Now, 11's a lot, but a friend of mine called up, how come you're only leading by 11? This guy can't put two sentences together. I said, well, they start off with a base like about 39. He's at 38, so that's interesting. It's hard to be at 38 as a Democrat, but Republicans have to do it the old-fashioned way. We have to earn every one of them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's why the Electoral College favors you guys, because you have all these fucking states with less people than a subdivision.
But they have a base. I won't exactly tell you what that base is, but we all
I don't know. Yeah, keep it a secret. Yeah, don't tell us.
know what that base is. They
Yeah, but I guess so you can tell us.
have certain people that are going to vote Democrat almost no matter what. But I'll
Almost, obviously. You know, there's the TYT crowd who will vote for you and then pretend that they actually care about women's rights and gay rights and healthcare and schools and poverty and all that kind of stuff. But they're like, fuck it. The whole thing has to burn down. Susan Sarandon or bust. Right, yeah, of course.
tell you the union part of that base is coming to us. The union part. Can
No, it isn't.
also tell you another. The Hispanic part is coming to us at level.
Oh, so the border thing maybe benefits Republicans. So maybe that's why Republicans aren't voting, or aren't voting to close the border.
Levels that nobody's ever seen before. We're leading with Hispanics. That's never happened before.
No, you're doing better than before, but that's because of pro-life issues.
And African American is coming to us at a level that
Singular. And African, are you sure you didn't say an African American?
I don't think any Republican has seen. Because they understand that this man is not capable. He's not a capable person. I mean, if you
He's capable of kicking your ass.
had a store and you wanted to take a week off, you wouldn't put him in charge of the store. No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't put you in charge of the store either. Fuck do you know about a store? Fuck, you would have been bounced off The Apprentice in episode 1.
Would you trust him to run your store? I don't
I would trust you around my female employees, you fuck.
think anybody would. That's a little question. It's a little, thing. If you have a
Yeah, it's a little thing.
store, would
Yeah, do if you have a store, how do stores run? Tell us about how stores work.
you trust the President of the United States to run your store? He couldn't do it. This election is our last chance to save.
Yeah, neither could you. You can't outsource it. You can't bring in other people. You don't get a staff.
America. Very important. The battle
So important.
begins in Iowa on January 15th, and Joe Biden's
Jesus Christ, is a Trump bobblehead that's molesting a fucking flag? What is he doing? Wiping his semen on it? That's gross.
Banana Republic ends on November
I'm kidding. He can't produce.
5th, 2024. And I believe,
The children are our future.
because the stock market's doing okay for the last 6 months, but I
The last 6 months.
believe the reason is because we're leading in all the polls. I think
Yeah, that's
if
why.
we weren't, the stock market would be going down at a level that you haven't seen. And I think if we don't win, I think you're going to end up in a stock market like you had in 1929, not a
Yeah, but you said that when you lost, and it didn't happen.
recession, a depression. I believe
It didn't even happen when you said everything was the worst it's ever been. At the height of inflation, it didn't crash.
that. I have to say it. I really believe you're going to end
No, you don't.
up in a depression.
No, you don't. If you really believe that, you would take all your money out of the stock market. You wouldn't have stocks right now.
You take a look at what these people are doing, how they're wasting all this money on the Green New Scam. It's called the Green New Scam.
Why is it a new scam then if it's been around for a long time?
It's horrible.
It's horrible. Why don't you call it the Green New Horrible then?
Horrible, horrible.
Call it the Green New Horrible, Horrible, Horrible.
With your help, we're going to bring our country back from disaster. Our country's a disaster.
It's just a disaster now? Are we on the brink of a disaster? Or we're in the disaster. It's a disaster. Let's just call it a disaster. Okay.
Laughed at all over the world. Since 2016, you and I have been in this battle side by side. I mean,
No, yeah, not really. They obviously weren't. They're not allowed at your private golf resorts. How much do you golf in Iowa? Some, you'd have to. I'd imagine there's some golfing there, right?
we won twice, and we're going to win a third time. We're going to win by more now, they say. We're
No, you lost. You lost last time. You're going to lose next time,
going to
too.
win by more in terms of November. We're going to win
Nope.
by more than we
Fuckhead, you're at 50% in your own party. You might lose New Hampshire at this rate.
did even the first two times, and we won nicely. We won very nice. Look, I did get you $28 billion in
Oh, this is fucking bullshit. We're like, I paid for your votes. You owe me.
all fairness, right?
No, not in all fairness. Also, Iowa is not where all the fucking farmers are. There's not like the Farmers League.
Who the hell else would get you $28 billion from China? The farm.
Nobody, because they wouldn't have started the trade war about that shit in the first place. They would have singularly put it on manufactured goods, not on foodstuffs. There's no fucking point.
Farmers of America. I say the farmers of America are not voting against Trump.
Yeah, they are.
They're all smiling like this. They opened us big. Remember I said, here's what you do. We're going to take
Here's what you do. Go buy more
a
equipment.
little while with China, but we're going to end up winning the negotiation.
And you didn't.
And we're going to make a great trade deal.
Yeah, how'd the trade deal go?
I don't even talk about that trade deal.
Because it was
I
terrible.
talk about USMCA. I talk about all the many trade deals I made. And
But I don't talk about the agricultural sales part of the trade because I shit the bed, right?
redid because you had such crazy deals. I used to say, who makes these deals? They're so bad. But I don't talk about China. But China was probably the biggest of them all.
Nope.
$50 billion they have
Nope.
to buy. They used to buy.
They 50. Let's should we take a look at this, kids? Hold on one second. Let's see. Let's see. There's a couple things. One, we'll go to this one. Here's that one. Let's see. No. Yeah, here you go. This will be more direct. Here you go. Yep, there we go. China misses trade targets it promised to Trump. China fell more than $213 billion short of its commitment to increase purchases of U.S. goods and services that it made to then-President Donald Trump in 2020, according to a report released Tuesday. $213 billion. The commitment was made in what's known as the Phase 1 deal, in which Beijing promised to purchase $200 billion more in American exports than it had in 2017 before a U.S.-China trade war began. Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping both stopped escalating tariffs after the deal was signed. The deal required China to meet its purchase commitments by the end of 2021. While China was never on track to meet the target number, a new report from the Peterson Institute for International Economics, which sounds like a fucking Marxist commie thing with liberals and commies in it, gives the first complete picture of how much was purchased over the 2-year period. Ultimately, China bought only 57% of the U.S. exports it had committed to purchase under the agreement, according to the report, which analyzed new trade data from the Department of Commerce. China bought none of the additional $200 billion of exports Trump deal had promised. None. Fucking none. Good Lord. The COVID-19 pandemic slowed trade around the globe just weeks after the deal was signed, making it even harder for Beijing to meet its purchase commitment. By the way, when it comes to foodstuffs, they desperately need it. China imports 80% of their fucking food. 80%. A country that big. You should be making at least 50% of your fucking food, right? Thank you, CSL. That's one of the reasons why America doesn't have to sweat it in tough times. Well, we had excess to sell, and sell it, Trump did. But experts had been skeptical from the start that China would be able to meet the ambitious purchase commitments, which set specific amounts for different categories, including manufacturing, agriculture, services, and energy. After roughly 18 months of tariff escalation that nearly halted trade from some U.S. exporters, relationships with Chinese buyers were frayed and had to be rebuilt. Plus, the deal left tariffs in place, keeping the prices of U.S. goods elevated. Farmers, who were hit particularly hard by the trade war, saw agricultural exports to China return to 2017 levels, but they still fell short of China's commitment. Soybeans, for example, fell more than 30% short of the target. The Trump administration made about $28 billion in aid payments to help farmers hurt by the tariffs stay afloat. White House National Economic Council Director Brian Deese told CNN's New Day on Wednesday that the White House is concerned that China hasn't lived up to its commitments. He blamed some of China's failure on the flawed nature of the trade agreement. We think it's feasible and practical to make them live up to their agreements, but also reset the trade relationship. Deese said the Biden administration will focus on areas where Chinese action is posing strategic threats to our economy. Biden left the tariffs in place, by the way. The ones that were still in place when Trump left. He never removed them, even after the trade deal was signed. So the premise was that there wouldn't be. China promised Trump a better deal for America. Hold on, let me shrink this down for you. It didn't actually deliver. The world's eyes have been glued to an epic competition that has been unfolding in Beijing between globe's leading contenders. The contest is fierce, and if it's anyone guess who will emerge victor, no one's talking about the Winter Olympics. We're talking about the ongoing trade war between the United States and China. Trade war is now almost 4 years old. In 2018, President Trump fired the first shots by imposing tariffs on various Chinese products. China retaliated, imposing tariffs on American products. The war kept escalating, with each side making their tariffs higher and more expansive. Then, in January 2020, the timing was fucking spectacular. President Trump met with Chinese President Liu He at the White House, and they both signed the Phase 1 trade deal. Think of it basically as a trade armistice. It prevented the war from escalating further, and it offered a roadmap for the two global powers to potentially become trade buddies again. Right before COVID. Look at that shit. All right. Chad Bone, Chad Bown, has been following the trade war closely. He's a senior fellow at the Peterson Institute. That's trade talk about. He says that from the beginning, the phase one trade deal was pretty weird. The strangest part, Bound says, was a provision that instructed China to buy an extra $200 billion of American-made stuff. That is, not only did China have to return to buying the amount of stuff it had bought before the trade war, it had to go above and beyond that. $200 billion above and beyond that. And it had to do so in 2 years by the end of 2021. We had never seen a trade agreement like that before. Now that it's 2022 and China's deadline to buy boatloads of American-made stuff has passed, Bound recently crunched the numbers to see how China ended up in actually buying. In the end, China actually bought none of the additional $200 billion of exports that it promised in the agreement. Zilch. Nada. And that includes the fact that, like, China needs fucking food. Yeah, right. P.S. Like, rip petrodollar. It's a great deal. Nothing happened from it. Literally, the whole trade war and using, like, buying off the farmers and stuff, they never got a benefit out of it. All they did was got a bunch of stress for a couple of years. They got subsidies for a little bit, and then they went right back to fucking 2017 numbers. It was all useless. None of it was worth it. Didn't change a fucking thing. And agricultural goods is the one thing that we don't have to worry about selling them. We're not worried about people in China having full bellies. We just don't want them to have, like, AI and military tech. We don't want them to steal that shit.
By 10, 12, 50 billion they had to buy. Now,
again, it's like in the first, like, 6 months, and it didn't happen. They got 13 billion of it, and it was food they needed anyways.
I don't know if they're watching it, because I don't think Biden's going to enforce anything, because China pays them a lot of money, you know?
He's going to be saying the same shit, and it's 5:07, and I've got to go. I'm going to run out of shit to cover. I think we at least have to do. Where is it? Because we did Eric. Where are we? We've got one thing in here. I have so much shit. There we go. I know I have. Where's the Kudlow reaction? Hold on one second. Which sounds like a really shitty action movie, or one that somebody makes for somebody's birthday party. Let me show you something real quick. This will go into here, and then I want to grab and then let's see. Let's see if I can scroll down here and find this. I'll find the clip. God damn it. Oh, that's him on the fucking the podcast. Fuck you. Hold on. Kudlow was on a podcast going, it's all bullshit. I don't know. Not sure if there's a thing. Let me go to media. That'll be it. Let's see if this goes in the right order.
I appreciate your characterization of blowout. It was a blowout. But look.
Hold on. Is this one? Nope. That's in front of the White House. There's a lot of old footage. Trying to find the newer ones. It's always like that. Let's go to, yeah, hold on. Search back there. Latest. I'm scroll through. Yeah. So on X, hold on, and I'll put the chat up so you can talk amongst yourselves while I'm dicking around trying to find this thing. His comments on it. But one of the things about where is that it? Almost. Is that they're trying to cover this whole thing like, the market doesn't reflect what the president is doing. You're like, motherfucker, during the Trump administration, you were like, we did this, we made this happen, Trump made this happen, this is us, this is how it works. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, here, this is his sort of story on this.
Report with Brett Baer.
Hold on. He's basically saying, this is all bullshit. Let's see. You go back to here. There we go. This is on America's newsroom, right?
Let's bring in Larry Kudlow.
During Trump, these numbers were perfect. During Biden, they're awful.
For a deep dive into these numbers. Larry, when I last saw you, which was about less than 12 hours ago, or just about 12 hours ago on Special Report with Brett Baer, we were talking about the economy, the banks, the debt ceiling, and how do you take this number, which is a strong jobs number, and put it into that calculation and what comes out?
Yeah. How do you shit on this with the numbers we're seeing? Please help us, because I can't figure out a way to make this bad news.
Actually, it's the big story here is it's not a strong jobs number because it turns out the 2 prior months were revised lower by a substantial amount. March was revised lower by 71,000, and February was revised lower by 78,000.
Oh, wait, this is the April one.
That's a total of
Oh, this is an old story of him doing it. Hold on. This motherfucker, there's so many of him shit-talking this, we didn't even get to the most recent one. That 60,000 people lost their job when, what? The XL pipeline, look at this printout, hold on. The XL pipeline would have produced 830,000 barrels per day in the U.S. and doesn't need to be exported because that's the way they used to do it. They used to do it. First of all, the Keystone XL pipeline is Canadian oil to market. It's not produced in the United States. And that's, according to Kudlow, the real report that came out, the Energy Department today, that 60,000 people lost their jobs when Biden cut the XL project. And they went to work someplace else. They're not fucking stupid. Hold on. Okay, I will scroll over. Thank you. Oh, there it is. There's room to discuss. Okay, yeah, let's give this a shot. Huh? Kudlow, this is troubling for Biden. That's right. Okay, this should do it. This will settle it. Yeah. Give me the old show. Explain to us how today's jobs numbers suck.
Oh, yeah. Well, Fox News alert on the economy. Employers adding 216,000 jobs in December, up from the 170.
That's a pretty green fucking screen there.
5,000
Don't make me put an Epstein picture in that on you folks.
that
Make you regret not having bad numbers.
economists expected. The jobless rate remains at 3.7%. Let's bring in Larry Kudlow, host of...
Yes. By the way, which is still fucking fantastic. There is no oh no in 3.7% unemployment.
Kudlow on Bizness, and I imagine, Larry, that you'll just have the White House say,
I'm just going to do what I do.
look at these numbers. These numbers are great, and they think the...
Also, why are you wearing 2 collared shirts? What is happening? What is this?
American people don't understand how great the economy is. What are they getting wrong?
Well, if I were they, I would too. But actually, under the hood, it's a rather soft number. It's a it's a complicated number, by the way.
It's complicated. There's a lot of people doing a lot of jobs I would never do. You wouldn't do them. This is a sad story because some of these people, they're making more money doing these jobs, but these are service jobs. These are jobs that are manual labor. These require an education, stuff that you and I would it would be painful.
I'm going to bore you with a lot of statistics.
Please do.
There was a big downward revision. This is the second of the last 3 months. The payroll survey was up 216, you're quite right. But the household survey, which is what you get the unemployment rate from, that thing was down 700,000 or almost 676,000.
It's the same. It's the same fucking number. It's not down. It leveled out. It was unchanged.
And the labor force shrunk by an enormous amount.
Yeah, look at these people. They don't even realize that this woman doesn't even work here. She's been replaced by AI. You know, all she does is pour water now. They just let her do it out of habit. I don't know what the fuck these two people are going to pay their meal.
So,
pay for their meal with, or to whomp them.
Participation rates fell, the employment to population rate fell, and almost all the jobs after.
Because we're almost at max employment.
The downward revision, which was 71,000, so it's 216 minus 71, call it 250, call it 170,000. Again, as we've seen in recent months, it's all government, leisure, and healthcare.
Leisure, fucking leisure.
You don't see anything much in manufacturing. In fact, manufacturing has been flat for over a year.
Excuse me one moment, won't you? Hi there. Let's see, is this, it's a year ago. 2 days ago, here we go. This is what's KSL? Well, look at it, let's see. Jobs report, the payrolls, let's see, most recent business stories. Supplier deliveries, Institute for Supply Management reported that its manufacturing PMI increased to 47.4 after being unchanged at 46.7 for 2 straight months. It's 14th consecutive month that the PMI stayed below 50, which indicates a contraction in manufacturing, the longest such stretch since August 2002. The Anthem, by 0.7%. Okay, this is the numbers on this guy right here. So, hold on. The anticipated December job gain would be below the average monthly rise of 240,000 over the prior 12 months, but well above the roughly 100,000 needed per month to keep up with growth in the working age population. So you only need to add 100,000 jobs to keep up with the number of people entering the workforce. The unemployment rate is forecast to edge up to 3.8 from 3.7 in November. Didn't happen. News on manufacturing, which has been bruised by higher borrowing costs, remains downbeat. And that's why it's the interest rates on this part of it, not because goods are necessarily, there's no demand for goods. That's when you're fucked on manufacturing, is when there's no demand for goods. There's demand, but they just don't, this in particular is because they borrow money to do it, especially for new manufacturing plants, because it's very cash intensive. Institute for Supply Management reported Wednesday that its manufacturing PMI decreased to 47.4 in December after being unchanged at 46.7 for 2 straight months. It was the 14th consecutive month that the PMI stayed below 50, which indicates a contraction in manufacturing, the longest such stretch since August 2000, January 2002 period. The survey's forward-looking news order sub-index fell to 47.1 last month from 48.3 in November. Production at factories rebounded, with the sub-index coming to 50.3 coming in at 50.3 from 48.5 in November, which I guess would pump it up above the 50% mark. Thanks so much, Loretta, for the super chat. I haven't even talked about super chats and all that kind of stuff today. That's how into the show I've been. Okay. So back to this dickhead. Manufacturing is flat. So we're not losing manufacturing jobs, and we're building manufacturing plants. Good luck.
So it's actually, you'll see the stock market coming back and the bond market coming back. It's not near as strong a number, and a lot of the analysts are saying it's a rather soft number.
Larry,
a lot of the analysts? You mean you?
Watching your
I hope I got all that out.
I was watching your colleagues on Fox Business when it came out. You're right. Participation went down, not a good sign.
It leveled out. People entered, and then some people left. Fucking hell. Hold on. U.S. manufacturing growth outpaces. Oh, yes. There you go. This is it. That says March 7th. I think they mean January 7th, but here we go. Difference between U.S. and global year-over-year manufacturing growth. Here's 2020. Everything takes a giant shit. In comes Joe Biden around here. Bing! The big picture. The reason for the surprising flip-flop are primarily energy and COVID-related, according to Atlantic Council Geoeconomics Center. Production of renewable energy equipment saw a big uptick in the U.S. last year, and oil exports soared too. Domestic production of medical equipment like masks, gloves, and pharmaceuticals grew. Meanwhile, China's manufacturing growth was muted because of its zero-COVID policies. While the rest of the world grew a little, the U.S. surged, the Atlantic Council wrote. The chart shows the difference between the U.S. and the world, excluding the U.S. Industrial production year-over-year percentage change. The Atlantic Council calculations are based on data from the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. But one potential tailwind is an Inflation Reduction Act's massive incentives for clean energy productions haven't even kicked in yet. Yeah, so that's a tailwind. So that's going to lift it. Once this stuff kicks in, that's next year. That's part of these like 56,000 government jobs that he's talking about. That's what they mean.
And of the government jobs, when you add 52,000.
Yeah, it's infrastructure.
Right? That's part of the big number here. What does that say about the private sector, Larry?
That the private sector hired more than 2/3 of the people that got hired in 1 month. And end of year on a new budgetary year, people will get hired in government positions and in government projects.
Well, the private sector's pretty much been flat. I mean, that's one of the themes.
Private sector's pretty much been flat. So it's not collapsing. I see. So okay, the growth is on government jobs, and the private sector is just humming along, doing its thing. Cool. I thought we were in hell.
Of this year, I'll have to look, Bill, when I get catch a breath, and I'll look at the 12-month changes for all of 2023. But I think what you're going to see is the leader it will either be government jobs or leisure jobs. There's nothing wrong with leisure jobs. It's just that it shows post-COVID consumer spending with a lot of credit card borrowing thrown in, and healthcare jobs or health services or social services.
Hold the fucking phone. No, it doesn't. The assumption on leisure isn't that it shows credit card buying. Just because you put fucking a vacation on your credit card doesn't mean you're leveraging to pay your fucking bills on your credit card. You're spreading your vacation or whatever leisure shit you're doing on your credit card over time, because that's how a lot of people do it. Trump lives off fucking debt. He's a fucking genius, but the average American uses their Costco fucking account to, like, Jesus Christ. Hold on, let's go to this. See, jobs official site. Government. That's 50. That's not. I want. There you go. In what area? There you go. Trying to. This is AOL. Okay, so it doesn't say. There you go. Main Street, Wall Street, Main Street can celebrate. Well, okay, 173,000. Bureau of Labor Statistics figure exceeded Wall Street's forecast. Quick to celebrate. Bernstein argued the jobs report is good news for both Wall Street and Main Street. Despite fears from many investors, the hot labor market would boost inflation. That's the big thing that everybody's worried about. The Dow Jones Industrial ended up Friday just up 0.07%. Yeah, it was continued up, but whatever the shit. In December, healthcare, but the job growth in the care industry, 55,000 per month, 2023. Social assistance rose. December construction employment continued to trend up, 17,000 in construction. Employment in leisure and hospitality. Transportation went up as well. Retail trade employment, December. I'm trying to look at showed a little change. December hourly wages for the workers. Non-farm payroll in October was revised. In October was revised down 45, 150 to 105. Where government, I'm trying to look for the government numbers. I'll have to look it up. Anybody who can find that detail on there, like the area where the 56,000, because they're acting like they all went to work as clerks. That's the clarity I'm looking for.
Which are the?
It'll take some study. I'll find it for radio tomorrow, because we'll be talking about the jobs number tomorrow.
Near cousin to government job. So, to summarize.
The what? Wait.
And healthcare jobs or health services or social services, which are the near cousin to government job.
Why? Because they are more focused on the service they give than the profit they make?
So,
what an asshole.
Summarize, I mean, private sector manufacturing has
private sector manufacturing as opposed to public manufacturing, of which we have none.
Has pretty much been soft or flat.
Soft or flat? You mean unchanging?
For the entire year.
Right, because you pretty much are at capacity.
So that's not a good thing.
Well, are they not finding workers?
Is that what the Fed wants?
You've got to distinguish. Well, it's not what anybody wants. I mean, you're not really producing. We produce to consume. You're not.
No, we don't.
Really producing, and that is a problem. I don't think anybody likes that, and I think that, frankly, has something to do with subsidized spending and also very heavy.
Like what? Subsidized on fucking what?
Regulations. So, look, the best thing, if I were Biden, and he doesn't call me, by the way, just to clarify, but if I were he
calls you something, I'm sure.
The number I would tout, average hourly earnings were up 0.4.
That might point out to why the continued raise in hourly earnings points to why you don't have to have both heads of household working.
And they're up about 4% for the year. And that is above the inflation rate for the past couple of months.
Right.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah. And if you pretend COVID didn't happen, it looks terrible. But if you recognize COVID happened, it's a fucking miracle that we're in that position.
The trouble for Mr. Biden is, going back for the 3 years of his presidency,
coming out of Trump's shit-the-bed economics and COVID,
there's an affordability problem.
Because of supply chains?
In other words, middle-class wages adjusted for inflation have fallen. They've fallen by about $20 or roughly 5%. That's a long stretch for a...
No, they have not. No. Household wealth dropping because the government subsidies ended is not the fucking same thing. This part drives me crazy too, because these assholes are, look at the fact, they're like, Biden's just throwing government money. They're just printing money. Money printer go burr. They're just throwing money out stuff, and that's why we have inflation. It's Volckerism 205 or whatever the fuck. No. Period. Once government subsidies stopped happening, when people were stopped getting their $1,000 or $2,000 checks or what have you, once that ended, that wasn't meant to be permanent. So on the metrics, people had less money coming in, but the money was artificially coming in. So once it goes away, it's back to normal. They didn't lose it by 2018 numbers or 2019 numbers or any fucking number. They just lost the subsidy. That's like saying I lost I got a job that was that pays me a little bit less than my unemployment, and therefore my wages are down because I'm working instead of getting unemployment.
Decline in real wages. And the middle class...
No, it isn't. Because, this is them not solving for X. This is this motherfucker trying to pretend that COVID didn't happen.
And the lower incomes have suffered. I call it the affordability crisis.
You mean the thing you didn't give a fuck about when you were in office?
Even though inflation has cooled, that's a good thing.
Yep, but we're in a terrible recession, obviously, because they did it too quickly, and
prices are still way above where they were 3 years ago.
Everything is different than it was 3 years ago. We were in COVID.
All right. CPI, for example, is up 17%.
Nobody was buying anything. Everybody was staying home.
Groceries up 20%, that sort of thing.
Demand.
So
all demand. People want it, or they wouldn't pay for it. The price would go down. There aren't that many more people in fucking America. I don't care. You can only eat so many fucking eggs. You can only eat so many fucking steaks. You can only consume so many calories. So the idea that food was going up simply because Americans had too much money is bullshit.
These job numbers, you have to look at it in that context. You can't look at them in isolation. I think you'll see a Wall Street consensus. I want to be very fair here. That the payroll number, that the top line number that Dana mentioned, is a little misleading because of the downward revisions.
No, it didn't. It just fucking evened out. It's normal. This is all fucking normal. The idea that this whipsaw is even making fucking news in a normal period in American history, we wouldn't even be talking about the fucking jobs reports at this point compared at 3.7. Jesus Christ, we have bigger fish to fry. The problem is these assholes have to explain why Biden hasn't crashed the economy. And they fucking can't.
Point number one. Point number two, the household number, which is small business, has been falling substantially of late. I mean, it's over nearly 700,000 decline. And number
That's because people are going back to work. That's why it's a steady unemployment number, you fuck. People who are working from home are having to shit, I'm just trying to make some money, like me live streaming or doing fucking Etsy or hustle economy or fucking driving an Uber, all that shit that they did during the pandemic to just try and make ends meet to protect themselves. They don't have to do that shit anymore. So now they're getting a regular job. So their small business stuff went away because they went and worked for a bigger company with fucking bennies.
three, this is a softer number than the headline would suggest.
Yes, I would argue the same thing is true about your intellectual capacity. It is a softer number than your headline would suggest.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't. And the fact that you don't know if it makes any sense is the fucking problem. Why would you be a go-to person if A, you can't explain what's going on clearly enough that you understand it? What the shit?
It does. And those revisions
No, it doesn't.
are important. Good context. Larry Kudlow.
Good context is great. Thank you for helping us polish Trump's turds again.
Thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. I still don't understand. Confused and sad.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Oh God! And just when you thought things couldn't get dumber. All right, I gotta go. I gotta prep for tomorrow, and now I gotta go on the hunt for more of the statistics behind the number, just so I can be a dick and dunk on them even more. That's too long. We can't do that. We don't have time for that. This is a story, though. I guess I could maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. One of the things I want to ask you about, obviously, you're probably going to hate to talk about it, but
I don't know. I got to do a little of this.
The McCarthy.
The McCarthy thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thing with.
Oh, yeah, him.
With.
McCarthyism.
I know that you were on record not really for the ousting originally and the whole vote. And it seems.
All right. We're getting close to 61,000 subscribers. Very exciting. That's good stuff. And the clips are doing good. Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks. Yeah, I just got a status report from CSL. Thanks, man.
Seems like it probably wasn't the best move, just objectively. Can we talk about that? Where we are now?
Absolutely. I'm glad to.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up the thing that I was a part of that was a fucking waste of goddamn time. And I tried to stop it, but I was working against people that I used to suck up to.
Talk about it.
Okay.
I'm glad that people are starting to see
Oh, she's got a head cold.
that it really isn't turning out as it was promised.
Uh-uh.
Well, so I think people have to understand that. So in our conference, in our Republican conference, and we.
Yes, you're tiny, dwindling, shitty, ignorant, stuffy, fuckface.
Have a majority of 222, and we're down now.
Yeah.
We're going down practically by the week.
Yeah.
Ooh, say that part again, if you don't mind. What's happening to your caucus now?
222, and we're down now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're going down practically by the week.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. Gee, it's almost like I'm right again.
Scary.
And you have to have.
It's scary. If you're scared, yes.
218 for majority. That's the majority. We barely had it together from the beginning. And
we know.
And to Kevin McCarthy's credit, he was the only one that had relationships with everybody in the conference.
He must have been exhausted and sticky.
That he was able to get everybody together, and we functioned. We didn't function well, but we functioned.
Yeah, why? No one expected you to function well. I'm glad you got great standards. You know, like the ones you have for America.
And we were able to move forward. And so I come from a business
Move forward on bills that were going nowhere.
background where,
Do you?
you know what? We
Where you're up in other people's business.
got a job to do for our customer. We got to all get together. No matter what, we got to figure this out and we got to get the job done. So,
right. Yeah. You just got to, you can't win everything all the time. You just got to make what progress you can and fuck it.
that's my mindset.
Uh-huh. It is now.
He was the only person that wanted to be speaker. He was the only person that was running. And I think that got proven to the American people in that 15 rounds when nobody else wanted to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody else wanted to deal with us assholes.
Nobody else could get elected. And our GOP conference.
Wait a minute. You literally had one person who was the only person to run, and you're going, no one else wanted to do it, and no one else could do it, or could get elected to do it. I don't know about doing it. I mean, the argument about whether he did it or not is up for grabs. But how do you get credit for winning winning an election that no one else wanted to participate in? If you're going to have one, it was eventually going to be him or fucking nobody, right? There was literally no one else.
It's not red. It is purple. It's like a purple state. And so people on the outside, and of course you don't know. You can't know because you're not.
Yeah, you don't know.
Not in there.
Right.
I wish people were in there. I would take the American people to work with me every day if I could.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an American person, and I guarantee you wouldn't like it if I was standing by you every day. I guarantee it.
Because I want them to see.
As a matter of because it would be this. It would be what I'm doing, non-fucking stop.
See all the crazy
stuff.
They need to see it. They need to see it. And so there were 8 Republicans. Some of them, my very dear friends, ousted Kevin McCarthy, and we have been, excuse my language, a shit show ever since.
In your defense, you were a shit show before.
Because
don't sell yourself short. You were always a shit show. I mean, it's just a bunch of
asshole.
Right.
We don't have anybody that keeps everybody together now.
Johnson doesn't do that.
Mike Johnson is a nice man, and I say that in all sincerity. He's a
nice. Oh, so you friend zoned him? He doesn't get to leave his keys in the bowl by the door?
Nice man. He's a Christian, but he has
a Christian, but that's fun.
He's never been prepared to be speaker.
No, he has not been through the rites of passage that the Republicans do it. He hasn't been beaten with reeds. He hasn't done the penis tug. He hasn't hung from the hooks. Obviously, he does the lashings on his own, but he's never had anybody else do it. He's never had his head, ritualistically shaved along with his ass at the same time, and so he's not really prepared.
Yeah.
And I think that's showing.
Yeah, it is showing.
And he's got good intentions. I think he's trying, but it's not working.
Because they were going to.
It's not working.
Well, that has to be like a diplomat position, doesn't it?
We're never going to have, you're not going to have someone like me be Speaker of the House.
Right.
You're just.
Well, thank you for that.
It's not. Because it's an election that happens inside the conference.
And everybody hates you.
And you got people in there that are practically Democrats voting.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Jim Jordan.
Like Boebert?
Jordan, I thought would have.
Could never get the votes.
Yeah.
And I think.
Geez, maybe, I don't know who's running. Are any of the former wrestlers from OSU serving in other states? Did they change their name, and maybe that's why you can't get
that was heartbreaking because he's such a truth teller.
Yeah.
Citation needed.
I like him.
I supported him. He would have been great, but then they wouldn't elect him.
Oh, them. It's always them, isn't it? Yeah.
So now we're a mess. We really are a mess. We're very divided. Everybody argues all the time.
I told you this was going to be a good way to end the show. Are you enjoying this as much as I am? Seriously. Hold on. I think this deserves a The Future is Popcorn Award. This is at some point I'm going to have to make a popcorn highway background for shit when we talk about this stuff. Oh, it's so good. This is so sweet.
And the way I see it, I see that as I look at the American people as our customer, and I see that as a failure. It's a failure because a lot of Republicans voted for
Yeah, I would agree. I think you're failing your customers.
us and gave us the majority. And a lot of people donated money and gave us the majority. And we have a job to do, and our job is to get our shit together and
Well, no, in your defense, you do have your shit together. I mean, have you seen the legislation that you guys have tried to pass? It's a great big pile of shit.
do our job for the American people. And we need to do better. Like the NDAA, the defense bill, I am disgusted with it.
Oh, terrible.
And that didn't happen under McCarthy. That happened under Mike Johnson.
I know.
Yeah, it did. It happened under McCarthy. You guys just stopped the vote on it. You just got rid of him. But it was all drafted in committee during McCarthy.
Oh, I mean, what happens to them? What happens to that they just give in?
They negotiate.
No, that's terrible. In a democracy? Whose fucking idea was that?
Yeah.
And he should have never done it.
Yeah, never negotiate. You don't negotiate with terrorists, even if they are elected representatives of 50% of the country.
And he keeps telling us.
But he knew everyone was going to get mad if he totally collapsed. So he totally collapses.
Yeah. And then was he surprised that everybody got mad? Because I think he was,
What kind of character flaw or outside pressure happens to somebody to make that happen every
clearly somebody's got some Lindsey Graham video of him.
time?
Every time. I don't know how it is. Is it because it's hard to believe? It's not like Republicans suck. So it's got to be something else. It can't possibly be that they are just ass as a party.
Lies in Washington. So if you're Speaker of the House, Roseanne, you are swarmed by all the people in Washington.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
I mean, you never get 5 minutes to yourself.
Yeah, and yet what a woman in her late 70s was able to do the job for years.
Yeah.
You've got the White House calling you. You've got the State Department calling you. You've got every member of Congress calling you, Democrats and Republicans. Everybody is all over the speaker. And so they fill them with all their talking points.
Oh, yeah. So you can't have somebody that's easily hypnotized like a weird neo-Christian like Mike Johnson. Obviously, all you got to do is you pull out a fucking pocket watch. He's done for.
You've got the military-industrial complex talking.
Yeah, they're calling
points. Oh, we've got to fund the war. Oh, we got to stop Putin. He's going to take over Europe. Total lie. Then you have.
Well, yeah, he's not going to take over Europe, but largely because we're stopping him.
You have to pass the defense bill. We got to fund the military. You have to. That's your job as Speaker of the House. You have to fund the military. You're just going to have to negotiate with Chuck Schumer and accept things in there. And it's just not.
Yeah, you are, because you've got to get the votes. That's just true.
Non-stop pressure. That's what happened with the FISA thing. Mr. Speaker, you've got to reauthorize FISA. What if a terrorist attack happens on our country's soil? You can't let that happen, Mr. Speaker. So that is the intense pressure that has been thrown on him.
Yeah, which is terrible, because you totally can. You could totally. The answer is what if a terrorist attack happens on our soil? The answer is, so what? Yeah, I don't know why he wasn't strong enough to say, so what?
And I'll just say I don't think he's ready for it.
Yeah. I got news for you. It doesn't fucking matter what he's ready for. What can he pass? Is he going to shut down the military for fucking months? Is he going to pull a fucking Tuberville? No.
Yeah.
And our bill, our defense bill, so I'll give Kevin McCarthy credit because not many people do. Our defense bill we passed under him before this final version gave the junior military troops a 30% pay increase. Let me tell you how important that is.
It's really important.
Those guys make $22,000 a year.
Good God.
That's $1,875 a month.
Yeah, but they also get to live on base, most of them. They don't have any expenses. They get free health care, and they're learning a skill that they will use later. The majority, that's who she's talking about. These are folks that that's the point. You don't get it cash in hand because you don't really have any bills.
That's for rankings E1 through E6. That happened under Kevin McCarthy. The final version that was negotiated, totally taken away.
Disgusting.
No,
Ugh, disgusting. By Mike Johnson.
no 30% pay increase. Then we took out all the abortion travel money that got put back in. We took out all the trade.
That's because you can't have female members of the military or family members of male members who are moving, or assigned to a base to have to travel on their own dime to leave a state for a legal medical procedure just because the state doesn't allow it when they're from another state and they can't change where they're deployed to.
No trans.
Or where they're training.
No garbage of that. None of that. Taken out. That got put back in. And then the worst thing that
no trans, just none of it.
Happened that was never in our bill, but got put in our bill was a clean FISA reauthorization.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Through April. And people think, oh, it's only through April. But that's not true. So if you're an FBI agent or you're the Department of Justice, you can go to FISA and get warrants by April, but they last for a year. So if you get one in March, that baby goes for a whole nother year. And it's
and if you got the warrant, obviously the judge and the rest of your team, I suppose, thought it was warranted.
So I like what he says. Speaker Johnson says, he's trying to turn an aircraft carrier around. Well, the first part of turning around is stopping. Yeah.
No, it is not. The first part of stopping a ship in the water is not stopping, dum-dum.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we need...
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, you expend way more energy just turning the fucker around after you've stopped. It's a fucking boat.
To stop Washington, D.C.
Right. Yeah, no, that's Putin's job. That's Iran's job. That's what Osama bin Laden wanted. That's what ISIS wants. They want to stop the existence of our government. They want to freeze it in its tracks. You're fucking nuts.
Right. And then tell them no. Just flat out.
Just no.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's why you don't have a majority in the Senate, and that's why you're losing your majority and why you had such a narrow one in the House.
Love our military. Of course we're going to fund them. Take this crap out, and we're happy to fund them. Like, we're going to give them everything they need. We're going to give them a pay increase. We're going to give them everything they need. We're not going to give them cover.
Unless they're gay or trans and they're defending our country, and then they're going to kind of institute some sort of don't ask, don't tell kind of policy. In that case, you're just going to eject those people who are willing to give their lives and serve their country because you ran a fucking gym and Trump faked he had bone spurs.
With vaccines, we're not going to let the trannies in there. We're not paying for the ladies.
The trannies, get the fuck out of
here.
To
go travel around and get abortions.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's the thing with chicks. You know what I mean? They just travel around and get those abortions. It's like at an abortion holiday they go on, like how Stella got her baby back, but not back.
We're going to make sure we take care of our
how Stella didn't come back with her baby.
Troops, but we need to stop the aircraft carrier first.
No, you don't. Terrible analogy. You're an idiot.
Right.
No, not right. That's dumb. Oh, you see? Oh, God. But I think we got, I will say, whoops, I still got the Bureau of Labor Statistics stuff up there. I banned sex in the military. No way. 3 toes and a cloud of dust and a hearty hi-yo silver. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I'm going to go look at statistics and finish wiring stuff I was working on because it's a mess. I'm like beyond just taking down Christmas trees and lights and all that kind of stuff and boxing things up. I'm rewiring. Everybody unplugs everything. God damn it. During the holidays. You know what I'm talking about? You guys know what I'm talking about. When people are like, I want to hook up my game system to this. And you're like, oh, you got to pull out the HDMI cable on that one. And then they forget to put it back in the original one. And